Hi everyone, welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Sin Lagos. I will be your host today, and today we're here with Cory Allen. What's up?
Not much.
Not
Just
much.
still waking up a little bit. It's 9 a.m. where we
Yes.
are. But I'm good. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So we're celebrating Pride today. We're excited to be able to explore different projects around Pride, and I think you're working on a poster today, right?
Yeah, so today what I'm going to be working on is I'm going to be doing some real life client work. And
what
so
we got.
for one of my clients, I can like dive in a little bit more on like the workflow in our process. But pretty much they've got a Pride party coming up, and so we actually live in Portland,
course.
Oregon. And so for some reason in Portland, Pride Month is July and not June,
Oh,
which is why I'm working on this so late in the month of June because we've got a Pride party at the end of July. And
so
so
it's like 4th of July and then
Yeah,
Pride?
yeah.
So it's celebration month. Oh,
celebration
nice.
month, and also two very
I can get with that.
different celebrations too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna be making a poster, an Instagram poster, and probably some other Instagram promotional materials for this client of mine for the Pride party that's coming up next month. And we're gonna start in Illustrator, and then we're gonna move over to Adobe Express.
Ooh, so multi Adobe.
Yes, we're gonna be
Workflow.
utilizing the suite.
I love
The
that.
suite of things. But before I get started, I want to say hi to some of the people I see. Carol,
Who do we
Raphael,
see here?
Sean.
Oh, Raphael, Sean. What's up, Sean?
I saw Voodoo Val in there. What's up, Voodoo Val?
Yeah, sneaky.
She's
Voodoo
my
Val.
she's my homie. We're like
She's a homie.
Adobe live streaming besties. She
That's
moderated my
awesome.
live stream like 2 days ago too, and I was like, Val,
Oh,
I'm
it's
so
been
happy
too
you're
long
here.
for me. I need to check that off.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
We're
it's-
such fans here.
I always get so excited when Val's in the chat. So okay.
I love all the pride flags too. I'm
Yeah.
so glad.
Thanks for bringing the pride, everyone.
Drop in all the rainbow icons, anything you can find. I challenge you.
Yeah, and let us know where you're joining from too, because we're in San Francisco right now, but you're from Austin,
So I'm based in Austin, Texas, and you're based in Portland.
Portland,
And
Oregon,
we're in San Francisco.
and we're in beautiful, foggy San Francisco.
Foggy today, but it's gonna change.
I bet it'll be sunny by the time we leave the
Yes,
studio later.
I will.
So a little bit about myself. This is my website up here. I am a graphic designer. I've been doing graphic design now for like 9 years, almost
Wow.
10 years, which is like crazy to think
We should
about.
celebrate the 10-year because I hit it somewhere and I
Yeah,
didn't even think
it
about
should be celebrated because
Yeah.
that's like a really big milestone.
It really
And I
is.
think about that saying that you need what is it, 1,000 hours to become an expert at something? Is it
Yeah.
1,000 or is it 10,000?
I used to think, well, I hit the 5-year mark and I was like, wow, I'm actually really good at this.
Yeah,
And so I think it takes 5 years.
yeah,
But when you apply for jobs, they often ask you for 10. And I used to think that was such a crazy milestone.
yeah. It is.
But now I'm like, you know what? It's totally doable. And
It is.
I'm now being on the other side. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I get it.
Yeah, we got this. We got
we
this.
got
We're doing it. I also just turned 31
We will
this year.
celebrate
so
your 10 years.
Thank you.
We will.
Thank you. So yeah, I've been doing graphic design about 9 years. I do a lot of freelance work. I like work with Adobe a fair amount, but I also work for Stanford University as a senior designer. So that's kind of my full-time day job, and just like a lot of like educational based designs. And so I like working in education. I like working in design education. And so that's why I'm happy to
It's
be here with
really
you guys.
interesting to like kind of reassess what is it that I make
Yep.
and how can I teach it. It's a
Yep.
really cool experience. Even if you don't teach, I kind of like recommend for you to teach one person that's maybe like in their 2-year mark,
Yep.
and you'll feel how much you learn about what you know.
Yes,
It's a really good
100%.
feeling.
I mean, like, do you hear this all the time? But like, when you're teaching, you're also learning,
Yeah.
right? And so it's like when you're
It's
working
true.
with people who have a little bit less experience than you, then like by teaching them about what you know, you're also like learning about their new ways of
Totally.
learning, and you're able to see things from new perspectives.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I really enjoy about just like. I
Brittany
guess-
says, so excited for today's live. Greetings from Germany. Jess loves. Oh, I love that. So
Oh my
many
God,
people. I love
amazing.
when we see people from all over. Nice.
I know. I'm like
Happiest-
impressed
happiest
you're joining us from Germany too. I'm like, what time is it in
Oh my
Germany?
gosh.
I don't even know.
Are you an early bird or are you an owl? What time is it out there?
So again, I guess here's my portfolio. If you want to check it out, CoryAllenHall.com. This Q Club was a fictional queer branding system for a like queer social club. This was one of the first Adobe Lives that I ever did, and
I love that.
there's a lot that I would change about it now, but I don't know. This was from like 2020 or something like that, and
I think projects are never really finished. There's a lot of different opportunities that could always go in different directions, but I think this one like, you know, stands the test of time if you did it that long ago.
I like it. I'm happy with it. I'm like, okay. Oh yeah, and then
and
it's
then
like
the
linked
streams.
down here at the bottom.
Baby
so, like, oh my gosh, I know. It's wild to think about. Like early pandemic days, how different we all are now.
I know.
Here's my Instagram at Cory Allen Hall. On Instagram, I also just like do a fair amount of like fun little t-shirt designs or
Yes.
like greeting card designs.
And today we're going to be like very focused on like how to share your work on social media.
Yep.
So I know we all kind of have like, you know, that pressure of like, how do I do it? How does everybody do it? Because it seems like everybody's just doing it effortlessly.
Yeah.
But
Definitely
we have
not
tools
effortless.
here today that hopefully can help you.
100%. And we'll talk a lot about that, especially as we get into Adobe Express and sort of talking about like Adobe Creative Cloud libraries and how those sync across all of the apps and then go into Express. So that's a huge and like really helpful tool for me, especially when I'm working with certain clients.
To like just be on the go.
Yeah. Oh my God. And Voodoo Val says, every time I see that cue, I think that's where I met Cory. And I think, Val, yeah, that was the first time because you were moderating that chat. And we hit it off so well. Like, Val wasn't even hosting me.
Who doesn't get along with Voodoo Val?
If you don't get along with Voodoo Val, then I don't even want to know you. Because you're probably a bad person.
Walking away.
Okay? I'm just walking away. Okay, so let's kind of get into what we're going to be working on today. Like I mentioned, we're going to be doing some real life client work. And so this is like also a really quick plug, but it's Pride Month, right? And so one of my clients is also my partner. His name is Charlie, and he runs a business called Everywhere is Queer. And essentially,
This is your partner.
yes.
Ah.
So it's a worldwide map of queer-owned businesses. He just released an app, but you can go on to everywhereisqueer.com or search Everywhere is Queer in the App Store and download this map.
I
and
could
it just,
use this now.
Oh, it's amazing.
Exploring San Francisco.
Yeah, I like
That's
cannot recommend it
awesome.
enough. It's an amazing resource. He's been working on it for about 2 years now. And so I actually help out with a fair amount of the graphic design work for him. And so, you know, we just do like fun carousels. We just went to Tucson, Arizona and like met with a bunch of queer-owned businesses around the town. And so,
It's like quick plug, marry a graphic designer.
yeah, right.
I know you're not there, but I'm just saying.
Listen, okay, but don't get it
Hint,
twisted.
hint.
I'm also not doing this for free. Okay, he's paying me for this.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
we, you know, I make like fun little carousels for him, or
cool.
like post announcements for different app features. Like his app just launched a job board, and so just like
And
working.
they have a consistent brand.
Yes.
Also, I'm noticing.
Yeah. So, but
Similar
with that
type
said,
space.
you might notice this one outstanding poster that's like
Yes.
not quite exactly within that brand.
Am I allowed to criticize this a little bit?
Yes.
This is one of those posters that have showed up on my lap wherever somebody gives me a document and says,
Yep.
all of this must go in this poster.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, but no, but like, it's kind of like too much.
Yeah.
And they're like, nope, every logo and make it bigger.
They always want every single logo. They always want some kind of illustration. You know, there's a gay burger special, and so for some reason there's this like really, really weird AI looking burger thing with
And let's outline the text
Like-
because it can't stand out enough.
Yeah.
One of the best things I can tell any client is to squint
Uh-huh.
and tell me what is the one thing you see, because that's the main thing that people are going to see, and the rest is going to kind of fall in the background.
Yes.
If you're okay
So-
with that, then that's kind of where we're going.
Yeah,
you know?
which I'm like, you know, if I'm squinting at this, I'm seeing like hella gay pride, right? July 21st. Like I can see some of that, but it is such a busy poster. And so I actually don't know. I think it was his partner, like who they're partnering with for the Pride Day that helped to design this. So I'm not going to go in too hard on it, but the sort of the client brief is to make this, but a little bit more branded for like his feed and towards his audience.
Yes.
And so
we can learn from this. I
Yep.
think it's playful is helpful, right? But what I'm noticing in your designs, you have like a consistent typeface, consistent color palette. So you kind of know that this is a variation of something of a similar voice.
Yes, exactly. And we want variation too. Like you said, that's a key word. There is like having brand consistency through, like you said, typefaces or visual elements or logo usage and like logo placement, but also making sure that it doesn't feel super repetitive on the feed. And so when I'm working with Charlie on design projects, part of the time I'm just making it from scratch myself. The other part of the time I'm delivering him with templates so that then he can go in and he doesn't need to like, he can repurpose it, or he can add in his own quote, or he can add in updated date or something like that, so that he doesn't have to come to me and say like
in Adobe Express?
Exactly. Exactly. So it's all coming together. But my usual kind of workflow is I'll make something in Illustrator. And then once I've sort of got that template established, then I'll take it into Express and sort of templatize it from there.
And you can.
And then that way you can also share those files with your clients so that they can then go in and like make their own updates to things, change the text, however they want to.
Yeah, I think in the past when we didn't have like something like Adobe Express, which Adobe Express happens to have this like open, like it's not gated at all. It's like this open access because it's not a very difficult web app to learn for anyone who hasn't learned graphic design at all. There's a lot of resources, but then also for us in the way that we talk to our clients, oftentimes there's always that conversation of like, how can I do this without bothering you?
Yes.
And I would get that a lot. Like I would do a lot of menus for restaurants within hotels. So I did a lot of hospitality for a while. And the restaurant menu always changes, right? Like, you know, maybe that dessert it wasn't so good, you know, let's move on to a different brownie, you know, whatever. And so they just want to change the text, and being able to just hand them a file that isn't complicated for them, because handing them maybe an Illustrator file is a little tricky for them. They're like, wait, hold on, I'm not a graphic designer.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. You know, it's like I want to enable my clients to do as much as they can for themselves so that we can also save time and budget for like the bigger, like more fun projects, right? So it's like, if he needs something made from scratch, then that's where I come in. But if we're just like making a template and he just needs to update like the quote or something, then that's perfect because I can just bump that over to him. He can copy and paste it and doesn't need to worry about the design or anything.
Brittany agrees. She's like, templates are such a game changer for small businesses.
Yep.
That's so true too.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty essential. And so, you know, for something like this, it's going to be partially templatized, but it's also kind of a one-off. Like this is really just going to be posted to the grid once. And so we can be a little bit more experimental with it. We can be a little bit more fun. And then I'll just sort of provide him with the files to, you know, make an Instagram story out of it. Or
I like this font. It's very humanistic.
It is.
Like I drew it with a marker.
It's called KC3 Hand, and this is a font that is used for his logo, his business logo. So if I were to like drag out his logo over, put it way too small.
Raphael also agrees. Totally agree. I create nonprofit for nonprofit organizations as a part-time. And it's a game changer, and it's time saving. So that's what we really mean when we're talking about time saving. I think once you get into the nitty gritty and you spend a lot of time in graphic design or in any space that is creative plus business, right, times business, you find that we as creators end up spending time doing really dull things.
Yes.
And when Adobe says time saving, that is the nugget. That is the thing that they're trying to help us do. So we spend more time doing creative things. And, you know, it's up to us, really, to see how we use these tools.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think, like...
Gay burger special.
I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I'm like, he's partnering with a sandwich shop. They're shutting down the whole parking lot. There's going to be a pride party. I'm like, gay burger? Have you ever watched Drag Race?
Yes, of course.
You know Plain Jane?
Yeah.
Burgerfinger?
Butterfinger?
Burgerfinger?
Burgerfinger? No, I don't know that.
Okay, well, Burger, there is like a bit of a, I guess Burger is having its moment in the like queer community right now, and so maybe that's sort of where this is derived from. But
that makes sense.
It's at a sandwich shop, so I'm like, okay, I guess they're gonna be serving burgers.
Oh, the one thing. It's nice. There's always this is a celebrity special, like the favorite. This is the thing that they like to order when they come here.
Yeah.
That's so cool. But I noticed you outlined that. Is that something you feel comfortable doing?
Yeah, I mean, because...
I caught you there.
I know. See, I'm like, I've got all of the text that I need over here, so I can copy and paste it if I need to.
I do that too, in the universe of the AI. I mean, not AI, but Illustrator AI.
Adobe Illustrator AI. Yeah, I do kind of tend to outline, especially with sort of a like more warm and like cozy font like this. I do sometimes like to outline it so that I can like, you know, change the dimensions just slightly, and it makes it feel even more kind of like hand done. It makes it feel a little bit more welcoming, and it's just easier for me to resize too.
Yeah, I've tuned into your typography streams, and I do notice you like to modify and change the type. Like you go a lot
Yes.
further than just typing and finding a font, which is really cool because I love experimenting with typography.
Yeah, I mean, I love experimenting with type too, and it's just one of those things where I think like if you were to just lay out type somewhere, it will look good. It can look really good, but I think it's when you start like finessing the details and making little small
You
modifications
make it your own.
that really help it stand out
Yeah.
as like a special mark or a special poster or something.
Yeah, it's
like
a common
that.
practice for like logos, but if you put it into things like posters, it just helps it stand out because it isn't a common practice.
Yep. And that's kind of so.
What's up, Keys?
We've got, hey Keys, thanks
Hi,
for joining. We've got
Alessandra.
Alessandra in the chat. What's up, Alessandra? I feel like I haven't seen that for a long time. There we go.
Full screen a little bit. There
But
you go.
yeah, talking about like customizing typography, we've got a full day of live streams ahead of us. So like
Yes.
you're streaming right after this.
So I'm streaming up next, and I'm gonna be exploring. Oh yeah, here's our lineup today. So make sure to tune in if you're working alongside us. If you're just having a chill day trying to learn. So we have posters with Cory, which is the one we have right now, and then we have social media templates with me. I will be showcasing some Pride photography focused marketing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. And then at 11, we have custom colorful typography with Jess. And then 3D art and illustration again with
Yep.
Cory.
Yep.
Cool.
So I'll be back. We'll be back with you right after this, and then I'll be
Yes.
back doing 3D types. So just like more sort of customization of typefaces and making things feel, you know, like specific to whatever message it is or whatever client.
Yeah, I was just driving here and I saw so many like different posters. I was already getting ideas. It's like 10 days till Pride in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Have you ever been to one here?
I have. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's amazing.
I was
Have
like
you?
10 days. Do I have to extend my flight?
I don't know. You might. I don't know. 10 days is a long time to extend
10
though.
days is a lot.
But yes, I have been to Pride here, the Pride Parade, and it is.
Oh.
It's okay. Well, it's really fun. It's also like kind of overwhelming.
Oh,
Like
there's a lot of people, right?
There's a lot of people. Like it's as big as you would imagine it is. Like it goes all the way down
I definitely
Market
want.
Street.
I feel like this is, you know how people love going to different parks,
Uh-huh.
national parks? Like I want to hit every Pride since I've never been to too many. Like New York Pride
Yep.
looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I've never been to New York Pride either.
Yeah.
I think I am kind of just trying to check them off my list. Like I've been to Portland Pride since living there. I'm going to Seattle Pride in
Ooh,
like next weekend. Not this like not 2
that
days,
sounds
but
very
the
like
following weekend.
grounding.
I don't know.
In a forest.
No, I wish it was, but I don't think it's going to be grounding, actually. No. Have you ever been to Seattle before?
No, but I have a lot of friends there. I almost moved there.
So there's this neighborhood called Capitol Hill, and it's like, it's sort of like the Castro of San Francisco.
Yes.
And that's where Pride
Here,
is going to be.
Castro's like basically a neighborhood is super pride gay friendly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, very like, I would say probably, yeah, more gay friendly than queer friendly. Like it's
Yeah.
definitely like a lot of gay men in the Castro neighborhood here.
A lot of theaters.
A lot of theaters, a lot of gay bars.
Naturally.
A lot of gay bars.
We're creative people, I think.
But yeah, we're going to Capitol Hill for Pride in a couple of weeks. And so that'll be my first Seattle Pride.
Sounds so ominous. Dun, 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 dun.
I'll be honest, I am like a little bit nervous about it because I just am like, I've never been to this Pride before. I'm going with friends who I know well, but it'll still just be kind of like, it'll be a new experience.
Yeah, I love going to Prides. I think it's, even before I was ready to be proud, I found it to be like a nice place
Yeah.
of like just celebration and happy people.
Yeah, to be around like-minded people and be around people who you feel like comfortable and safe with.
This is coming together. I like this.
Yeah, we're just kind of working pretty fast here, but I can explain a little bit of my process, which is, you know, because I work with Everywhere is Queer a lot, I actually have created an Everywhere is Queer CC library. And this is super helpful for me because I'm able to put basically all the brand assets that I use the most for this client into this library. And so I've got like the primary color palette over here. I've got like a darker color palette. I've got a light color palette. I've got all the different logos that I end up using. You know, like this one isn't
The
gonna...
graphics.
This one isn't going to make it in today, but like, you know, I'm able to just like click them and drop them in.
Graphic design starts to feel like Tetris once you like have all of these elements always at all time.
Yes.
That you can remix essentially.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the goal, right? Is it's like it's saving me time, it's saving the client money,
but still remaining consistent, remaining
yes.
on brand. And also, in my experience, I don't know if it's similar to you, but I found that after a while, then we feel confident in like changing something up because we are already familiar with what we've been using.
Yes.
So we want, like, for example, you have an alternate color palette there, it looks like a darker color palette, whether you use it for like nighttime events or something like that, like you make those decisions more coherently because you already know what you have.
Yes.
You're not all over the place.
The tools are at my disposal, and it's really just up to me on like how I use them. And so, you know, like I've got like so many different types of graphics in here, a lot of different like people illustrations.
Oh, little characters.
And so like, yeah, I made all these like really cute little queer people. Look at this little guy holding a flag.
Oh my God.
And we've got like a nice crowd of people here. And so for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with like Creative Cloud libraries, you can just like take a graphic, drop it into the library, and then it essentially creates a separate file for that graphic.
Like a PNG file?
It's I've got this as just like an EPS, and so I can double click this file and it opens it up. And now I've got like a bunch of files at my disposal.
These are so awesome.
For me to work with, and then that way I can just like drag and drop them in super easily into whatever project that I'm working on.
Sean says, by the way, Pride is in Amsterdam is boats on canals.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds awesome.
I'm like, okay, sign me up for that, please. Yeah. Sean, can I come and visit and stay with you for Pride?
Yes.
I'm just gonna invite myself over.
And the boat needs to have like a gigantic flag. Or be completely submerged in rainbow colors. Sure.
I'm like, I would love, because I've done like the Pride parades, I've done the Pride parties, but I have not done Pride on a boat. And I think that's something I need to do.
Yes, I think so. So really cool illustrations. I love those illustrations. I've never seen, I had to do illustrations similar to that for a college. So it was a little bit more formal. Definitely yours have like this kind of, I don't know, they have so much energy, a lot of character.
Yeah, thank you. It was like a lot of work making them, and I did not make them from scratch. I bought stock illustrations from iStock, and then I went in and I like edited hair, put in jewelry or piercings. I changed the color of their clothing. So it gave
you kind of like a starting point.
Yes, definitely. So like, I don't know, I did not find this person on iStock. I like added a hair clip, I added little makeup, you know, and so I had a good starting point for then me to like build off of. And
are any of these like based on a friend, or like you're like, hey, this reminds me of somebody?
There are. So like this one is like definitely based off a friend that I have in Portland.
I feel like I've dressed like that once upon a time.
Yeah, I have been there too. This one is also kind of giving one of my friends in Portland who has a very similar sweater. And so, you know, it's like they are based. I'm not going to give names, but they are sort of based.
I love it.
It's like the disclaimer at the front of a movie or a book where it's like, these characters, if they resemble like real life characters, it's purely a coincidence and like not actually related to anyone, even though it's like we all know it's actually so.
We just made this up, but that must have been a nice experience, like just brainstorming how, like what makes this person like just slightly queer from like the standard stock one that you got.
Yeah,
that's so fun.
Yeah, it was a really fun exercise, and I've actually used all of those little guys so much. And there's more that are like not even in here, but I've used them so much that I'm probably gonna need to make more soon because they're starting to be almost overused.
They're cute.
So.
Hey Jeff, what's up? For those of you who are just joining us, we're exploring posters here with Cody and in Illustrator. Cory, in Illustrator, and we're gonna jump into Adobe Express.
Yeah, I think we're gonna move over to Express pretty soon here. Like I mentioned, it's easier for me to like build things quickly in Illustrator, and so just kind of like laying things out and figure out where the elements are gonna go, and then we're going to move over to Express and create files that the client can use to kind of like
to have access for your client also.
Yes.
Awesome.
So I just want to, I don't know, it's feeling like a little flat to me, and so...
You're going to do that kind of like drop shadow effect?
Yeah, I think so.
Or overprint. It's really where it came from, right? Like a print
Yep.
got like slightly shifted to the left, so then it created that overprint.
Yeah, and this, I want to kind of, let's see. I'm going to copy and paste this. And then I'm going to blend.
Blend.
So that, because you can see here, it's like it doesn't quite, I want it to kind of look like there's some depth there.
Okay, okay.
And so I'm going to, there's like a bunch of different ways that we can do this, but I'm going to do a blend. Blend options, specified steps, 100. And so now we've got this like kind of slight gradient there.
How'd you do the gradient part?
So it's because we're blending two different colored objects. And so...
And you did a large number of blend?
Yep, so I
Okay.
did 100. So you can choose the number of steps for your blend. And because these are so close, I did 100 steps, and it just like, there's 100 versions of them
looks
in
really
between.
clean. Yeah.
But if I were to like, see, if I were to yank it way the heck out, I mean, that like also looks super cool.
That looks epic.
But you can see the like 100 different versions now starting to appear
Right,
and
'cause
like
they're
show
more
themselves.
Distant.
And so that's kind of what we're doing there. And it's, I don't know, adding some like nice 3D element, maybe in the spirit of
Pride?
in the spirit of pride, in the spirit of, where did my, there we go.
Oh, Jess Love says, I really love the fact that real friends / peeps inspired such a sweet collection of beautiful people.
Oh, yeah,
Cory's the
right?
magician.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, this 3D type is
Thanks,
making me think
Jess.
so. Oh, wow, the blend looks awesome, says Jeff. Yeah, I like that blend. You know, the blend tool is one of my favorite tools in here. There's definitely so many ways to go about it. And I hadn't thought of that. I don't know if I did it before, but I don't know. I like the way you're approaching it.
I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't planning on doing this little dashed thing, but I kind of almost like that it looks sort of like it could be, I don't know, like party lights or something. It makes it actually pretty hard to read. I don't know.
Though, probably because it's yellow.
Yeah, that's like...
But it's so interesting because I think that when I look at this, a lot of these elements, like once upon a time, we didn't have the digital, ways of doing it. So we would have to cut out pieces, create things, put things together, very collage oriented. So this is giving off that without being that, entirely.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We're just...
I think that looks better though. It's more legible.
Gay burger special. Okay, and so one element that I use a lot here are like little circle guys like this. And so
Coming soon.
I might incorporate this in here as well and put our little gay burger special because it's getting lost right now and I don't want it to get lost. And so maybe if I put it into a circle.
What's up, Valder? We've got more folks on the chat. And I can see the YouTube chat too, by the way. Art Gamer, what's up?
Group. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to just like play around with hierarchy right now too, of like, what are the first, second, third reads and like what's the most important thing? Like the Hella Gay Pride Party, that's a pretty important thing. The dates are pretty important. And so maybe it's not the right choice to put Gay Burger Party within this little container because maybe it's like giving it a little bit too much.
There's definitely, like, do you think that hierarchy-wise, okay, you said 1, 2, 3, is there like 4, 5, 6? Or is there a point like, okay, I gotta stop because now I'm maybe outdoing it?
Yeah, I don't want to, because like...
Because maximalism is is possible.
Yeah.
In an organized fashion, where it still kind of has function. I think that's kind of where you're at right now.
Yeah, you feel like it's like functional.
It does, yeah,
Okay.
because it, I know you didn't use any grid systems, but I could see a grid system here.
Yeah, I think I've kind of like got the grid established in my brain. I just like didn't put it
years
into.
will do that to you.
Yeah, I'm working off of grids that I've pre-established now after like
Yeah.
years of experience. But I think
That's so cool. I like it.
yeah, like it's working, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Jack Watson says happy Pride, Jack.
In a true like workflow environment, I would step away, go someplace else, and then
Yep.
come back. Oh, you see, I literally stepped away.
You
from
stepped
it.
away. You
Yeah.
fell out of frame.
Fell out of frame. And then when you come back to it, you're like, yes, this is just as good as I thought. You know.
Yep. Or maybe with a little perspective, I'd be like, oh, okay, I
maybe the
changed the
color,
size,
yes.
change the color. But because...
On that note, we'll be right back. No, I'm
Nope.
sorry. After these announcements.
Give me like 15 minutes. I'll take a walk around the block. No, I think that I'm feeling pretty good about where this is at. And so now I've got my various sort of like hierarchical system established. I've created this like somewhat of a word mark. And because I created this word mark, it would be really difficult to recreate Helige in Express. Like, we could do it, I'm sure we could do it, but it's much easier to sort of use this one that I made in Illustrator and then take it over into Express via libraries. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this whole element and I'm going to go over to my library panel and I'm going to hit this little plus, add it as a graphic. And, not grouped. So we're going to move it just, let's see.
Organize it in your folders.
Gotta stay organized, okay? I'm going to put it into maybe like a secondary branded thing. And so now I've got that graphic and I'm going to have access to it within my Adobe Express library.
Ooh.
And so I'm going to just
You know, I don't ever do that,
Really?
but I really should.
Listen, okay, super helpful. So, like, the client brief here is to make an Instagram grid image and also some Instagram stories.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do is, because I've already got my grid image, like, it's in a pretty good spot, I'm going to need to run it by Everywhere is Queer and just, like, see how they feel about it. Like, for instance, they might want it to spell out Everywhere is Queer instead of saying EIQ. And so just for now, for the mock-ups, I'm just going to mock them up really quick. And so got the grid image. Let's start with the Instagram story. And what I can do is I can go into my stuff, libraries, and I've got my Everywhere is Queer library here, which is exactly the same as the library in Illustrator.
Do you find that does it ever kind of lag a little bit, or how's your experience with that?
You know, it's been like really pretty seamless.
I imagine it's because it's a web app.
Yeah.
So you get to refresh it and so on. But like oftentimes, I think what discourages me from using it is I have to restart my app.
Yeah.
But this is a web app, so you just have to refresh it.
Yeah, I mean, like, we can test it. So, like, the Helige that I dropped
It's
in
right
here,
there.
it's already there. But,
Yeah.
like, if we wanted to, I'll drop 15 in, and we can see how long it takes for it to get in here. So,
Yeah.
like, if I refresh the page...
And then we have Annika here with a question. Do you ever make a darker background variation, Cory, for your poster?
I do. And look at that. 15's already in there. And so it's like less than 30
That
seconds. And it
was
goes
so
from
fast.
Creative
We
Library
didn't even have a
to-
chance to answer that question.
I know, literally.
Okay, so I'm trusting it.
Yeah, so wait, what did you ask, Annika?
So, like you have so far this really cool pastel color palette, and you do have an alternative color palette for your brand, which is darker. Do you ever make like a darker background variation? They find themselves making color variations of the same design to see how it translates. Oh, okay, so like separate artboards.
Yeah,
potentially.
so I do that sometimes. I mean, within sort of like this existing brand system, I haven't experimented that much with darker color palettes. And it's partially because I'm a little bit scared too, and it's partially because the goal overall with like Everywhere is Queer's branding system is to feel like light and welcoming and like open.
Yeah.
And so I do try to keep it like kind of light and feeling like nice and happy. But I think that like it's a good idea to eventually I will need to experiment with darker color palettes just so that we're not getting like too repetitive.
It's definitely like an opposite. I mean, color theory in general has so much impact in the way your work is translated, your statements. You could be saying however you want, whatever you want to say, but the color cues in into somebody's mind much faster than anything else.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's what we've really found, especially with this brand, is that it's a very recognizable brand. Like, he's got a really solid color palette. I mean, the color palette, like, somewhat echoes, like, a rainbow, but it's not entirely, it's not, like, an exact rainbow. And then, like, this little guy, this is his, like, little pin logo. The colors just, like, work really well together, and when you see them together, it, like, immediately makes his audience think of Everywhere as Queer. And so...
I love that when somebody says, I don't know why, but whatever you're wearing reminds me of this brand. Or whatever it is, that reminds me of this, like, oh, wow, it really has sunk in.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's very you,
It is.
It makes sense.
And that's, like, very much, like, the goal, right? Is, like, I want my client to have a pretty seamless, like, brand and have... their audience to have a seamless branded experience with it. And so, okay, I just dropped in another asset, and I'm going to see if it'll update without me refreshing the page. I think that it will.
What was it, the location?
It was the Pride Party text. And so let's see. And I could also just, like, type it in, but because I've got this sort of unique dashed stroke around the letters, I was like, okay, it's probably easier for me to do this in Illustrator than it is to
so
do
you did like a
Express.
type treatment, and you're like, I just want to bring them in.
Yeah. So refresh the page. Open up the library again. Yep, and there we got it.
And you have several libraries in there too.
Yeah, I've got, because I was doing a teaching typography live stream series. Oh, I'm like... kind of like it on this light background color too.
Yeah.
But I was doing a teaching typography color or design series a little while back, so I created a library for that. I've got one for my sort of like personal branding palette, and I just find it's like really, really helpful to have. This is like a little bit hard to read, but I think that's okay for now.
I think if you printed it, it wouldn't be. But,
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have that backlit screen. We have Jeff with a question. Has anyone hit a library limit?
I
That's
have
a
not.
good question.
I have not. I don't know. Like, maybe other people have.
Yeah. I haven't either.
I
That's
would...
a terrible feeling when you run out of, like, space.
I know. I'm guessing that you would be able to
Upgrade?
update your storage, yeah. But I don't know. I've never encountered that before. And my guess is that, like, this file is so small.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even begin to tell you what size this file is, but it's so tiny. And so if you're adding colors and graphics into your library, a vector file is, like, absolutely minuscule. And so I would guess that it would take a while to fill up your gallery or your library with.
I do think it's good practice if you are working with several clients to kind of hit that mark of like, okay, I'm done with this client unless it's a retainer of some sorts, and then just archive it. I do that quite frequently, like depending on what quarter I'm in, I treat it this way because, yeah, that feeling of not having space, especially me as a photographer, I often like experience that and gone through like leaps and bounds to find the right thing for me. I think it's important to just like archive things and be like, okay, that's done. We did it, I think in design it's hard to say this is the final, it's so hard to say that.
100%. It's like you're always sort of like iterating off of things.
Yeah, forever and ever. And Voodoo Val says, no, I haven't had that problem either. I have so many assets in my library.
So we have, and I think because what's interesting, right, is like if we're working from a square asset and then moving it over into Instagram story dimension, then we've got a lot of extra space to work with. And so I'm not going to exactly have the same layout. We're going to need to like add a little bit of variation, which means I'm also going to have room for more things.
Cool.
And so like maybe I add...
I love that group photo.
Isn't it so cute?
Yeah.
I'm like, I like don't want to cut people off, but they're like kind of small.
And there's a total millennial pose in there.
Do you see?
Or the other one is this one.
Do you see what the kids are doing these days?
It's a heart.
The heart.
I know. I recognized that, and I was like, oh, This is so adorable.
It's so cute.
Stop.
I'm like, it makes me feel so old because someone needed to explain it to me.
Heart.
But I was like, okay.
I do this on my Mac and it like pours out hearts.
Oh, that's cute. Like with Zoom? Does it do it on
it's like
Zoom?
the new OS system recognizes it, but it doesn't recognize this, and I think they should definitely introduce that.
It should.
So actually Voodoo Files did a little homework and found out that there is a limit. There's 10,000 assets as a limit, which is a lot of assets.
That's good to know. I'm like, it's going to take me a really long time to get there.
Yeah. So no worries.
No worries. We're good.
Voodoo Files says it's the K-pop heart. Oh, I did not know. That's not where it stemmed from. Oh, Keys has an emoji. Stop.
Wait, what? I want that emoji. That's so cute.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
The little things, you know?
It is the
little things. Oh, you just made
things.
this so quickly.
Isn't this cute? Okay, I'm like, I had no idea how this is gonna turn out. As with most live streams, you're like, okay, we're gonna see how it goes.
We're just gonna dive into
We're just flowing. We're just going for it. And I'm like, okay, I
feel like that's one of my favorite parts because I think if you're working at home or a lot of us do like work from home or work on our own sort of, it can be isolating.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to have like this co-working experience. I often turn this on some of your streams.
Oh.
And just be like, hi. Cool.
Yeah.
That was nice.
When I'm working and I like feel lonely, I like need some voices in the background. I do the same thing.
I need the coffee noises, you know?
Sometimes I'll put on an Adobe live stream.
Good playlist.
A good playlist. I'll put on like a Lo-Fi Girl on YouTube and just like
Lo-Fi.
Do you ever watch the Lo-Fi Girl videos?
No, but I always put Lo-Fi in all my reels because it's what I click with, you know?
If you like lo-fi, then you should check out Lo-Fi Girl on YouTube because it's lo-fi music playing in the background and it's like this little girly like working at her laptop with her headphones on and it's like raining outside and she's like petting her cat or something.
Not
it's just
the rain.
It's so cute. It's so like chill and so relaxing. So if you like lo-fi music, it's
I am definitely hyper productive on a rainy day.
Yeah. It's great to kind of like, okay, I'm not going to go to YouTube and show you because that would distract the heck out of me because then I'm just going to be looking at YouTube videos.
But I do love people that do that, like playlists and DJing.
Yep. And it's just like live streaming on YouTube, I think 24/7 is this like girly working at her computer listening to music. So anytime you're feeling lonely or you want to like pretend like you're working in the rain, check out Lo-Fi Girl on YouTube and just like hang out with her.
Working in the rain.
Okay, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Hey Nate, what's up? Okay, wouldn't it be cool to put that emoji as a graphic? Yeah, let's put that. Let's ask for that emoji. I like it.
We could. I wonder if. Where is? Oh, I've got this one file where I've got a bunch of email graphics where I've got you can like type with the emoji keyboard on the computer.
Oh.
Okay, so if there's
so this is a typeface that you can type the emoji?
Yes. So now.
So we got 2 typefaces so far.
Let's see if there is a little like cute heart. We've got that. That's like not quite it. Oh, I don't have the.
You know, drawing fingers is really hard.
It is. Like, I'm not even gonna try to do that.
I was like, maybe.
I'm not even gonna try to do that. Like, look they've got like the Star Trek Spock hands. But I'm like, they don't have a cute little like heart moment, little heart hand moment. They've got hands waving out.
The tragedy.
Like that. Oh, criminal. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we checked. I would have really liked to add that in, but.
It is a cool font face though, like that.
Not today. We will be playing with some of those emojis
I forgot,
later, I
but there used to be like a typeface where you can type in and all the social media icons would pop up, like all the logos officially.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever continue to update that. But.
Huh. That sounds really useful.
Yeah, handy.
Like, I could use that. Okay, little people. Look at them. They're just having their own little pride party down there. Isn't that so cute? That's so cute.
Yeah.
And did I add...
I love that little bunch.
Yeah, I was really proud to make them, and
the color palette works really well.
And that's the thing is like I spent a long time getting all these colors to match and like putting a little jewelry on all of them.
Because it's a variation. Like we're not really that like tinted orange.
Yep.
But that's the fun part. Like,
yeah. It like warms
something familiar.
Really nicely.
Yeah.
Like
colors can be really challenging. like to
Okay.
blend together.
So, you know what's interesting is we have, I think I'll use this as an opportunity to just like show you. I wonder if this will work. What I'm going to do is you can kind of see this flag is being covered by this gay burger special. So this could be just a good example to show how files sort of like link out. And so if I open this up and I remove this person, then what should happen is this linked asset will change, update,
And then zoom into it.
give it a minute. Maybe I need to, I'm gonna refresh the page. And I think that they'll just go away because I've updated the linked asset. And so that's one of the, come on, okay, update. Womp womp. It like it's trying to.
But when you come back here, it will be potentially at some point or another.
Yes.
Let the magic happen up in the clouds, and then it should do it. But I often do like doing link items like that because sometimes somebody says, oh, actually, I need this corrected. And if it's a collaborative project, I'm like, okay, I'll correct it on my end.
Yes.
And then it'll just be linked.
Yep. And that's even better for
Did
when
it
you're
work?
working. Yep.
Yes.
All gone. And so it's like,
Zoom into it because it's like kind of in the way.
yeah, so then we were able to get rid of that one person, and now
There
we've
you
got a little
go.
bit more room for our gay burger special.
It
And
only
that's-
took 2 refreshes,
Yep.
2 updates.
Well, and that's such a good point that you made too of like, you know, say you need to make one quick change. If I send my client this template, then I can make changes on my end. He can change the text on his end. And then
Yes.
like I'm able to make design updates without interrupting his workflow.
Or if you have like a new character and you want to put it in the centerpiece because it's like somebody's visiting, you know, a celebrity of some kind or something like that. It's like, okay, let's update it. And then you can work on it and not have to like email it and have to do a bunch of things. That would be weird. It's like, no, it's a new way of collaboration.
Yeah, it's really helpful. And we're going to,
And this is kind of similar but slightly different. Like your background is lighter on this one, so it gives a different vibe.
yeah, which it's kind of nice to sort of switch it up. Like we might want them to be the same, just so that there's a little bit more visual consistency between, the grid post and this one. But I just kind of started working on this lighter background, and here, what I can do is I can just go in and change it to that lighter background. And so maybe I'll just show the
nice.
client both of them and say like, okay, which one do you like better? Like maybe the Instagram story, we do keep it a different color background because, I don't know, we
yeah.
want to switch it up or just show some variation.
Or you can create like separate artboards here too. I find myself often doing that just to like continue to play even for myself, even if somebody else isn't. I don't want somebody else to make the final decision. I'm like, let me give them the best
Yes.
too. And so we'll find like different colors or a different approach.
Yeah, so I created a new artboard here by just clicking this add button. I could also just hit duplicate, and then I can change the background color here.
You gotta, yeah.
And now we've got 2 versions of the exact same thing, just with different background colors. And so like then what I could probably do, and I don't play with animation that much in Express, so I'm a little bit rusty with it. But like, say we wanted to just like add a little bit of animation to this. Yeah. It's like such a helpful thing to be able to just say like, boop, boop, look, the party just arrived, okay?
Oh.
The party's coming to you.
The Kiki's here.
The Kiki is here. Look at that, and they're all just ready to Kiki. Look at this one. He's holding up his little peace fingers. I'm like, okay, so, and you know what I want to do actually is I want that animation on this one too. So I'm gonna delete that and reduplicate it. But actually, let's.
Yeah, when I was learning like in any degree of animation before I ever touched any professional tool like After Effects, my first introduction was Photoshop, that little timeline. But even then, it wasn't as easy as this. So it's honestly like a little enviable that these tools are available.
I
now.
know. It's almost like it makes it. I don't want to say it makes it too easy, but like it almost makes it too easy.
Too easy.
I'm like, oh god.
We need it to be more difficult.
You know how long I used to spend on After Effects doing this?
Yeah.
Such a long time.
Keyframe.
Oh my gosh.
And then it's like, well, but that's not the one I want. Maybe I should try something else. You have to start from scratch. Which, there's room for that for sure. But when you're creating marketing assets, you don't want this to take up everything. You want room for other things as well as this. And,
Okay. So
and Jess says the $15 font is easier to read on the light sage canvas. Both versions are very lovely. Oh my God, stop it. The animation. Oh. Yeah, the animation was great.
Thanks, Jess.
Make the price pop.
Okay,
Make it pop. I mean, yeah, it's...
Yeah, the price is maybe, it's getting lost just a little bit. But I'm like, oh.
Sometimes you have to be like, what is the most important?
Yeah. You know, and I think like...
Sometimes it's the location. Like you want to make sure people know that to arrive on time, or they get lost, or parking.
Well, and like and I'm just kind of anticipating my client's needs right now, but like chances are he'll probably want to add a button where people can buy a ticket, right?
Right.
And so like I might actually not even need to put in this gay burger special. I might replace this with, let's actually do that. Let's replace it with...
What's that update?
Let's see. So I'm just updating my little gay burger
they
special.
can't hear you. They can't hear us. Okay, can y'all hear us now? If you can
Yeah.
hear us, put a bunch of rainbows on the chat.
Clever, what's up?
Yeah.
Is Barbara in the chat?
We just dropped like the biggest tip ever in that little silence.
No, they'll never know.
Now we'll never
No,
know.
they'll never know.
It's lost in the ether.
Okay. I don't know why my little guy is not...
Unless you can lip read, right?
Oops.
Yes, all the rainbows. Thank you for that. I love that you spend the time to put all those hearts.
Okay.
The order of the rainbow always perplexes me. It goes into purple, and then all of a sudden there's a green in there.
Right.
Why?
There we go. Okay. So, wow.
You meanies.
We've got like this just like cutesy little animation.
I love that.
So I'm in our last like 2 minutes.
Yes, we're in our last 2 minutes. You want to share with them what we've done so far?
Yes.
From Illustrator to Adobe Express.
Yep. So we have kind of our starting point, which is like I said, live client project. We have this pride poster that was made by the event organizers, and my client just wanted something that was a little bit more within his brand system, right? And so if we look at like some of the other posts that I've done for him, we've got various like consistent brand elements, logos, typefaces. And so the goal was to just bring this poster more in line with that branded system.
Yeah.
And so using Creative Cloud Library within Adobe Illustrator, let's see, lost my file. There we go. I was able to like kind of take this poster and take all the information in it and make it into something that felt a little bit more on brand for the client. And this will be an Instagram grid post. And then, so similarly, using this like library over here with all of the different assets, graphics, colors, typefaces, I was able to go into Adobe Express, take some of those little elements that I was able to make and make an Instagram story out of them, and then animate the Instagram story.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look at that.
So in that time you created that poster, and you were able to translate all those assets and create a story just like that.
Yep.
Create a story animation, potentially a reel, because now it's and
Yeah.
before. Right?
Yeah. No, exactly. And so like I can export this file in like any which way that I want to.
Yeah, put
so
a nice song.
We could give him
Put some nice lo-fi.
we could give him a nice like static version. We could get him a video version. I could get him an extended version, and so he could make a reel out of it. And the best part is that this is also templatized so that I can then send this file to him and he can make whatever text changes he wants to. If he wants to like spell out everywhere as queer instead of EIQ or change the date or the time, that's a really easy change for him to make without needing to worry about like getting into my design files.
This was super cool, Cory. I love seeing your process and your workflow and your multi-apps workflow, no less.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Okay, 10 years, okay?
10 years. Well, folks, stay tuned. We have so many more streams to come. And up next is going to be me exploring social media templates. Us.
Yep,
together.
We're going to be doing it again. And
Yes.
except for this time, I'm going to be hosting you.
Yes, more deep dive into Adobe Express. So stay tuned.
Awesome. See you guys soon.
Today we're going to be talking about the generative AI features that are in Express. Here on the homepage, this is kind of like the first area where you will see the text-to-image and text effects generation.
And if you need inspiration,
Yeah.
all the keywords and the prompts are already on all those images.
On hover, yes. Pug wearing a bow tie sitting next to a cake. Oh my gosh! And then and then
There you go, short
just right
graphic.
when you hit generate, it takes you straight into the editor. To the side here, you can adjust your prompt. In the text box, you can change the content type. Right now, it's not set to anything. You can set it to photo, graphic, or art. You can change the style here. So it's all categorized. So you see 6 right now, but if you click on these different subcategories, you'll see a lot more options. And then when you scroll down, you'll see the different results that you can look through. And then if you want to see more results, just hit load more and then it'll generate 4 more images. Now another way you can use text to image and text effects is in a project. So let's go ahead and actually start from a template. Yes, we have a bunch of different invitation templates. Let's go with this one. Go into media and then go to photos and then you'll see this button that says text to image. Okay, pug wearing graduation. It's better to just go for it and then like trim down. Oh my gosh.
Oh, adorable.
Wait, this one's adorable.
That one's so cute.
Okay, so now we're going to explore the text effects. All you have to do is just select the text box. And if you scroll down, you'll see text effects right here. So you just open that up and then it pulls up the text box for you to put in a prompt, how tight or loose you want the effect to stick to the letter. And then there's also sample effects. So if you're like me and have trouble writing prompts.
Show me the pink balloon.
Oh,
that's really
so
cool.
Good.
Yeah, that's great.
So we're at medium and I do this. You have to hit generate every time you make a change or an adjustment to your prompt or any style.
Thank you everyone for hanging out with us today. I had a blast. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It is us again. We are here. We are still here from 5 minutes ago. Hi, everyone who is still in the chat. Thank you for sticking with us. Jeff, Jess, Keys, Oliver, Annika, Voodoo, Val, what's up? If you are just joining us, my name is Cory. I am joined here with Sin. Sin, how are you?
Hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for sticking around. I'm having a good time so far.
Yeah, we're just rolling. We're going with the flow.
Exploring
We're doing
everything.
designs. We're hanging out. So what are we working on today?
Yeah, so so just as on a baseline, for those of you who may not be familiar with my work, I'm focused on design, photography, and video. At the core, at the heart of hearts, like I was telling Cory earlier, I'm a photographer. So I really, really love having opportunities to showcase my work. And a lot of my work, photography work, tends to come from self-imposed projects of exploration. So in this day and age, I did thrive during the time of like Instagram, where everything was just like, oh my God, photography, right? Yep. But I know me and other people who I mentor, they struggle with the fact that they have this incredible work, but they don't have a place to showcase it.
Yeah.
So something that I've been navigating lately has been how do we showcase our work and understand the differentiation between this is my work and this is the marketing for my work.
Gotcha. Wow, that is actually a really important distinction that I haven't thought that much about.
Yeah, and so ultimately, I wanted to use Adobe Express in order to explore how can I promote some of the work that I've been collecting. And recently, I have some like really cool stuff from Prides that I've attended.
Okay.
So I wanted to showcase some of those photos and videos, actually.
Yep.
And I want to find a way to do that within Adobe Express so I can market my work. So the goal is for my work to be seen, number one, and two, to be able to get more collaborations that look like the work that I love to do anyhow.
Yes.
Right? So I want to be able to showcase my work for those two reasons. And if you're an up-and-coming graphic designer or you're an up-and-coming photographer, you know that is really important. Or if you're changing jobs, I know a lot of my friends are, and entering this space, I want you to see this as a huge differentiator.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I'm here in Adobe Express, there's a lot of things here. And if you love TikTok, you know that there is a For You page. On Adobe Express, there's kind of a For You page as well. So a lot of these areas here are pertaining to things that I use quite often.
Yeah.
And so you can see here, I'm often using like removing the background. I have these quick actions here along this area, which allows me to resize my videos. There's just so many opportunities in here. From the start of when I started using Adobe Express, it has kind of grown exponentially. Now we can do a lot of AI things in here too, which is nuts.
Yeah, like you can do generative AI within Adobe Express.
Within
which
Adobe
is wild.
Express, right? Like, so text to image is right here. We've got generative fill, we've got text effects, and a lot of this is also available on the app, by the way, a mobile app, which has blown me away. Don't just say
wild.
this because of the way it has so many things available within an app. It's nuts. So I did find it, even as a professional, important to get to know this interface even more because it was far too reliable for me to continue to ignore.
Yep.
So in here, this is my For You page. I do want to go and guide you into the social media page. So in here, this is the area where you're going to be doing the marketing to showcase more of your work.
Okay.
So in here, we've got Instagram stories, we've got TikTok videos, Facebook posts, the works, all of the cool media spaces that you get to showcase your work for free.
Yeah.
You just have to spend that energy. And I know it's a lot of energy, and I totally get it. So let me close this because I want to show you the photos we're going to be working on today.
We've got Raphael in the chat saying Sin is a Premiere Pro. Everyone needs to look at all the streams she makes for many tips.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I love Motion Mondays here on Adobe Live. I run a stream called Medium Unlimited. So thank you for saying that. It makes me so happy. This is some of the Pride photos that I captured of different people. They were just so sweet. I've always felt so alive every time I photograph a stranger.
Yeah.
There's something about it that helps me navigate my own sense of self.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, pride came a lot later in my life, and it's still kind of in the works, you know, like here and there. And I just love seeing like young people just in just like themselves, whatever that variation is.
Oh my God, this is a stunning photo. I love
Yeah,
that.
and this is kind of like a place where it has a lot of tents, and so it was kind of tricky for me. So I kept photographing from downwards up.
Yeah, well, and you've got like that like harsh overhead,
lights.
sunny, like in the middle of the day. It can be really difficult to photograph people.
Folks.
Love them.
They are trying to also do their part in making sure that like in the military people are comfortable. So they're like, this is also important here, and I love that they're a voice for that. And like eventually they get happy and comfortable with me. I love like the first shot is always a little awkward, and then the next shot is like totally themselves. Yeah, so these are the photos we're gonna be showcasing. I want to showcase my photos, but I am running into this thing that everybody has. It's like, wait, hold on, now I have to create a video to show off my photo.
Yeah.
That can feel like a whole nother range of things that I need to learn.
Yes.
But what if there's available things on Adobe Express that can help me do that? So I can stay, you know, being an expert at photography and being pretty good at my marketing, nevertheless, right? So again, we're here in social media and we're gonna work on a TikTok video. So we're gonna browse, first of all, we're gonna browse templates because we wanna repurpose the templates here to save time, but also to investigate how are these templates made? Since you may or may not have 10 years of graphic design, you know, like things like that. So I'm gonna explore some of the TikTok videos here. Let's see, I don't think I can make this any bigger here, but we have a couple here, and I tend to notice that in here you can like, right? There's this little tiny heart.
Nice.
Which allows you to like something. So I love anything that's film related. There are some covers that are really neat. So I can explore some of these and think, how can I repurpose these? This one's very video driven.
Yep.
My assets are not video driven.
Yep.
But I do like this one right here, and it says college memories, but it's very photo driven, right? When I play it, there's already animation in place.
Yeah, that's really nice. So it's more just like drag and drop.
Drag and drop, right? Drop and roll is what I like to call it.
Drop and roll. I love that.
So I love things like this, and I really love this collage header that they created. And when I go in this, I'm like, wait, how did they make this? And I see there's a little piece in the background. Somebody made this, okay? So then I get to investigate and learn, just basically teach myself graphic design some more within this space.
That's such a cool way of looking at it. Like, you're utilizing the features that are super available to you and that can make your life really easier, but you can also like use it as a learning opportunity. And I think that's like, I don't know, that's really inspiring. It's super cool.
I've always done that. I think I've stared at photos, film photos. I'm like, how did that color happen?
Yeah.
And I've always been kind of like a student at heart, and which is part of why I'm driven to teach others, because I felt like when I was coming up, you know, the internet was just opening those gates and allowing everybody to learn. I still was met with a lot of creators who would be like, no, I will keep my process, you know, close to my chest, like protected, because it was like this viable thing. I don't know. But now I just love that we live in an era where everybody kind of explores.
And people are sharing, you know, which is really nice. Like, I don't want to like gatekeep like
the fact
design
that we say
resources and like it's just like we should be sharing our resources and ideas and like templates and things with people. I love the photo of her.
I know.
With the fan like out towards the camera.
Yeah, so a nice photo tip there. I love whenever somebody has a prop, I ask them to use it. So I met somebody with an umbrella. I saw this. I'm like, whatever it is, let's play with the dimension of the photo so there's more depth, right? Because the fan is closer to the lens.
Wow, that's a really great pro tip. Are these from Austin Pride, or where did you take these photos?
Oh, good question. So these are from Austin Pride in 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, so June of last year. And they were super cool. I love like how many good photos. I never know if I'm gonna get good photos out of this.
Yeah.
I always just kind of go and see what happens. And I don't know, I've always surprised myself, and I love that experience. So here's the thing. when it comes to marketing my work, I have a lot of systems in place. I love using things like templates. I love having a schedule. We were just like, geeking out over schedules. It's silly. But when it comes to my art form, which you have to decide what is that. It could be illustration. In this case, you can drop in illustration works, right? I think when it comes to my artwork, I don't want to have expectations. I don't want to have constrictions. And so I go out there and I photograph and I have that moment to myself. This I can get to categorize as this is to show off my work, but it's not the work itself. There's so many different variations that my work can take on.
Yeah. Well, so where do you find your work is primarily living?
So my website is a really important place for me. It's in my little nook in the interwebs. And I've definitely treated it as such. I don't neglect it. I definitely went through that, so I get it.
Yeah, I neglect my website too sometimes, but it's nice to remember that it is like your little home on the internet, and it's where you can do literally whatever you want. The vast internet, and it's like your own little corner that you own.
Yeah, I love that got like a little glimmer of light.
Yeah, that's amazing. That like doesn't look real to me. It looks like you added that.
And you know what? It's funny because people are always a little bit shy. And then I was like, can you do that with your crown? Because you have a prop, you have a crown. And I'm like, you came out with this crown. Let's
use the crown.
Experience it.
That's like such a good pro tip that I never would have thought to do. But if someone has a prop or like something really interesting about them, to like ask them to emphasize it, or like hold it out, pick it up, like play with it or something.
That's it's that experience. So after that, I really want to show off the photos. I really have such a I don't know, a sadness whenever I think, oh my God, look at all these gems that I've left to collect digital dust. In these folders. Why did I forget about these incredible photos of these incredible people? And we're in Pride, so there's no better time to show off photos like this. And they're always different in different places. And so far, you can see my workflow is almost too easy. It's like, am I cheating here?
I know, you are. You're literally just like dropping them right in. So one of the things I do keep in mind, we are sharing this not in a museum, where people are calm and quiet and they're staring at your work. That could be a place where these photos could end up one day. I really hope so. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, they aged like wine of sorts. But here we're communicating with a different audience. So we got to keep that in mind. The time is also faster. Somebody invented scrolling as a UI experience. And we've been like into it ever since.
Now we're scrolling.
Yeah, so
scrolling.
You know that the time is important. So what I'm going to do here is make sure that these timelines are also squeezed so you can experience them, and that's it. And maybe that builds a lead to a curiosity point that leads them over to my website where I do have a different curation of my photos.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the hook, right? And you get them with like the really fast, pretty, like shiny stuff. And then the goal is to then get them to your website where they can like sit and admire and like spend a little bit more time and like see them larger and within the full context. That's awesome. I mean,
part of it's also like you don't want to stray. It's very much like branding, right? You don't want to start doing something this playful if in fact the photos don't lead to that, right? The photos are somber and they're meant to be more introspective. You have to be still conscientious of what is it that you're attempting to do here. I don't know if I put that one already, but yeah, that's why I feel like, okay, I can give myself room to be playful here. And Adobe Express happens to be very much big on playful templates. So I can find something like this, and it has already animations in place.
And like you've basically got a reel now.
And I just got a reel. So boom, we created our first reel. I'm going to just name this first.
That's awesome. Jess says, I adore your eye for people.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have like such a way of capturing this intimate moment with someone, and I think it's cool too that like these are people that you hadn't met before. Like these are strangers you approached on the street.
Absolutely.
And you were just like, can I take your photograph? And they were like, go for it.
I know. I think street photography is actually on the come up now too, which is nuts because when I was doing it, it was just like folks were like, aren't you afraid to talk to people? And also being a woman behind a street photography lens is uncommon. So it was always like, that was actually working in my favor because I would just put a smile on and let them know I'm a friend and not a foe. And they immediately were just like, okay, no more guard. I love this. This is great.
That's awesome. That's such an important skill too as a photographer, is to be able to kind of like have like disarm someone and like make them feel comfortable with you in front of the camera, but that's not something that comes naturally to a lot of people.
It doesn't come naturally, and you know what? It didn't come naturally to me either, and I think it's a test of character that it's like exposure therapy, like we were talking about. Like it just helps you tune into those characteristics of yourself that you want to nurture.
Yeah.
So I love street photography. Is that like, I don't know, that's basically the message here, I think, at the core.
Yeah, Jess says it's a superpower, and I do think it is, but it's also something that you can cultivate. Like it's a skill that you can really cultivate. Jess, are you a photographer? I don't know. I haven't seen Jess in the chat before today, and so I'm curious why.
Yes, so curious. Yeah.
They're in
photographer.
Germany, right? She, hers in Germany. I think that's what she said last stream. I don't remember.
So I'm going to create another. So this is also a test. For me, I run a small business. Okay, so this is important for me. Time saving is important. And I often do marketing batching. So that means that if I want to activate a specific thing, for example, I edit these photos live on my YouTube channel.
Okay, cool.
So
when do you do that?
Share this with you here. So I do that every Wednesday, except this Wednesday because I was here in San Francisco. But I do this every Wednesday, and it's called Portrait with Friends.
Cool.
Where I get to edit all of these photos, any photos that I take in the street, and I tell people, I'm like, I will be editing your photo live, and they love that, and I love that because actually I've been spending all my evenings editing, nevertheless.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing it live, and I was like, wait, what am I?
Why not,
doing?
right? Like that's so cool. Also, I love this typographic treatment that you have too.
Thank
Like
you.
it's so playful. It's very welcoming. Feels like it captures the essence of what it is you're trying to do super well.
Definitely check it out. So this is important to me because I feel like it helps me maintain this like connection with the editing process, just as well as the point of taking the photo. Because for me, I take a lot of photos digitally. So it was my first camera ever. It was a digital camera. So it stayed with me, you know, that post-editing process is the finish line for me. So I hope you get to join me on that. I will be jumping into the marketing batching every single time I am done with photos, like editing photos. So I know I'm like, okay, I have complete edited photos. How do I get them to be seen?
Yeah. How do you share them with the world?
How do I share them with the world? So this is going to be a practice in that. So let's create another scene. So there's this really cool effect that I've seen in TikTok, and I'm always very curious of how to make things. I don't really like things totally automated. I want to find out how to do it.
Yeah, totally.
So I was like, I think I was just thinking in my brain how to do it, and I'm going to show it to you. And once you see it, you'll be like, yes, I know what that is. So we're going to make it here. There's 3 ways to create visuals on Adobe Express. 1, you can upload them, so they're your own visuals, right? 2, you can generate them, right? So you can do text to image.
Yep.
And 3, you can find them in Adobe Stock.
Okay.
So I have these other photos here, and these are in Miami, in my hometown in Miami.
Oh my God.
It's a totally different vibe. It's like, I love it.
Different vibe, but so cool.
So cool, right? I feel like you should grab some of these and create a character, one of your characters.
Wait, yes. Wait, I would love to do that.
Yeah,
That's
that
so
would be
cool.
awesome. So I want to bring these in, and I do have a couple
Oh my God,
of
that's so good.
horizontal versions. Let me see. So I want to bring in horizontal because having attention isn't just about screaming. Sometimes it's just about creating dynamic elements that keep that level of intrigue. So I'm going to just go for it here and assume these are all horizontal. Let's see here, and these 2. Maybe this one here. So I love bringing in, finding layout designs for horizontal items because I'm oftentimes filming or recording in landscape mode.
Yeah.
It just happens to be like the true nature of how we experience things.
Yes.
But because of mobile devices, which may age out eventually, I found myself like for a year kind of constrained in creating vertical things.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, this isn't really what I like. So maybe I can just find ways to present my horizontal assets and visuals. You know, it could be video, it could be photos. So, that's the graphic design in me, like saying, get back to your core, learnings of like layout design.
Yeah, it's so funny how the world has kind of like reoriented our brains in terms of vertical format, where you're exactly right. I mean, we experience the world horizontally.
Yeah,
and it's such a difficult thing. And like, there are times when I want to post a photo to Instagram, but I can only post the horizontal version. And it's just like, it's smaller and it just doesn't feel as impactful as if I were to post a portrait version.
And we all feel those constraints and it starts to kind of like deflate our creativity.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to get to those places. I definitely think it's important to experiment with layout design. Layout design is a very invisible thing.
Yeah.
But once you get to know it well, you will find that all the layouts all the templates available in Express are experimenting with layout design, and that's why they're so peculiar.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna find a couple elements here. This is so far very static, right? There's nothing happening here.
Yeah, no movement or anything.
So this right now is not a good candidate to be a reel. It's not a good candidate to be a story. Maybe it's a story, whatever. But we want reel because reels in the algorithm world, and we're putting on our marketing hats right now. It is the way to expose our work to new eyes.
Yeah, totally.
It just is what it is.
Yeah, reels are being pushed out like crazy. So
I'm really grateful for this era because once upon a time, all we had was really gate-kept media spaces like TV commercials or billboards.
Yeah,
like,
even
when
like,
was the last time you posted your work on a billboard?
Yeah, never. Literally never.
So,
I've mocked up my work on billboards before,
Yeah,
so it
other
looks like it's
people's
on a
work.
billboard, but not my work.
Yeah, I've like done billboards for other brands and things like that. But you know, you got to pay. There's definitely a pay area. This is time and knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think that could be really cool to just consider that because it can get exhausting. Things are changing all the time. But if you remember to take care of your inner artist and separate that from the marketing hat that you wear every day, I'm surely you do, then that will, prevent burnout.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious for people in the chat if like how everyone else goes about, putting their work out there, and do you separate the creative from the marketer in your brain? I mean, that's like kind of a new concept to me, and I think like it's one I understand in abstract, but like hearing you talk about it today, it really has sort of like set it into my brain and like, okay, like if I can sort of like separate the two in my mind, then maybe it'll make promoting my work easier and feeling creative in my work easier.
Yeah, it will. Like compartmentalization.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a hard word to say. But yeah, so I do think I want to keep, like, I do a lot of mentorship. Mentorships on students are just coming out of college, folks that are changing fields. So a lot of them are coming from my Skillshare classes.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that that's like a running frustration. It's like, how do I respect my art while also, creating more opportunities for myself?
Yep.
And that those two are very important. Those two shouldn't be against each other.
Yeah, they're not necessarily mutually exclusive, but they are difficult to find the overlap sometimes.
That balance. So far, I've done some animations in here, and animations have 3 categories. We've got the in animation, the looping, which is constant for the duration of your timeline, and then the out. And I know you touched on some of these. They're very simple. They're so easily accessible. I love to go in them and double click to get even more control. So in this one here, I just made sure it came in from the left, and then the other one, it came in from the right.
Yep.
But also the energy levels could change, right? Do you want it to be soft? Because in fact, your photos are a little bit quieter. They're not this loud. Then that's room for that. So you could still respect your photos and whatever emotion they're evoking, because I know I want to do that all the time. In this case, they're a lot of fun, so it's totally okay to just play around and be a little bit more bouncy.
Yeah, a little more energetic.
More energetic.
Keith says, reels rule the world. Did I hear that right? And I'm like, I don't...
Right now.
They really do. It feels like they do right now, whether we want them to or not, because I also do know that I get a little bit tired of reels sometimes, but it is good to like have an awareness on how to... it's just like... Love that. So like I could absolutely make that into a little illustration.
It's a little icon.
Yeah. The glasses and the kind of like the tutu and the hat. I'm like, wow. Let's
bring this one in, and I'm going to show you that TikTok effect. So the key here in this TikTok element is we're going to place our image. It works really well with portraits.
Okay.
We're going to place our image and flood the entire scene, right? So it's completely edge to edge. Now we're going to duplicate this by right-clicking or Command D, and for some reason it just nudges it to the right, and I give this feedback to the Adobe Express team, and they do listen to me, so I have this in my list.
Okay.
So definitely give feedback, because some of your feedbacks could become wish lists that come true, actually.
So it nudges it, I guess, maybe
Just a little bit to the right.
maybe
there.
so that it's like shows you that it actually
I think
duplicated
so.
something.
I think so. It just adds like another element of like, I have to make sure those two are
It perfectly lined up.
perfectly aligned.
Yeah.
So in Illustrator, you're probably familiar with like paste in place,
Yes.
right? So those things.
Which I use literally all the time.
And it's still in the Adobe ecosystem.
Yeah.
So again, Adobe Express has grown so much from the start. So there's a lot of little things here that if you're familiar with the Adobe ecosystem and you love tools, I don't know, in Photoshop or somewhere else, and you wish they were here, let them know.
Yeah.
And they will,
Yeah, they're absolutely open
they
to
will
that
be
feedback.
open to that. I think that's, yes. Okay. So
Oliver says most of the time I can't be bothered to watch reels, so I just scroll past them. Oh.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Don't take it personal.
I love the scrolling past that.
Just
like,
scroll.
so quietly.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean, Oliver. Sometimes I get tired of the reels too, which is why I'm also like, I love seeing people post their work just to the grid. But sometimes you gotta do both.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do both.
If you want to discover like new audiences. and
Personally, I
stuff.
mean, I love Premiere, so I do have like a little bit of a, I would say a palette for that variation of a medium.
Yeah.
But I do urge you to consider your relationship with social media before you double down on
Yep.
social media. For me, it is definitely a tool that gives me access to more opportunities,
Yep.
and I treat it strictly as so.
Yep.
It's actually funny because a lot of my family or friends they'll use social media as a way to like decompress, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't actually do that because it feels
Yeah.
like I'm working.
Yep. Which is actually probably pretty dang healthy that you are like, you have your decompression time separate from your working time.
Yeah,
And
my decompression is like my dogs and my cat
that sounds great. That sounds really healthy.
and outside.
And outside.
You try. So, okay, so far we've only duplicated it. We made sure it's pretty much on top of each other. So I lowered the opacity. It looks like there's no side
Yeah.
lighting here. And what I want to do here is to the top image, we're going to use this handy tool. It's called Remove Background. It has that little dog on it. And right now, maybe you can't see it, but I'm going to lower the opacity of the other one.
Okay.
It just removed that background.
Cool.
So what we want to do here is this really neat effect that makes it feel like a cut collage. So this is a montage of our photos still, nevertheless. It just evolves into something else. And so right now, in order to control in which order we see things, we have to look down here into the timeline. So we're going to press show layer timing in there on those three little dots. So when I select the layer, it shows me the entire duration of it. And so far it's going from 0 to all the way to the final moment. And I want it to come in a little bit later. So these are cool things because these are essentially the same things you need to learn for editing in video. You need to know your keyframes, you need to know your timeline, and here you are learning it on the fly. So we're gonna place this one in, right? We gotta leave room for these other two images to be visible.
Yep.
And then we're gonna bring this one in. So let's see if that's enough time. Okay, that looks good. And then the one that's completed with the background, we're gonna bring it in second. So it should look like this.
Cool.
Right? So we'll do this multiple times.
Yep.
So far we just paste, we make sure it's duplicated, we make sure it's matched, and we then add them to the timeline in different orders. I love this one.
Yeah, that's such a great photo.
Yeah, I was like, okay, who do you admire? And they told me Beyonce. And I was like, give me your best Beyonce.
They're giving Beyonce energy right there.
They totally are.
They really are. The confidence.
The confidence, But it's just funny because like I think it's in all of us to be this confident. We just have to be able to like channel and be,
Yep.
I don't know.
Like tap into
sometimes
that, right?
find somebody who encourages you. Could be everything.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just about like finding someone you look up to and then kind of like trying to embody their spirit, then by like embodying it, sometimes you do really just kind of step into your own spirit because you are able to find the confidence to like be who you are, who you want to be.
Yeah, I think if you believe in that, you will feel less like, I don't know. I get my moments where I'm like not inspired by anybody. And then I look at my own work and I was like, oh, wow, I did that? When did I do that? And applause, because I don't feel right now that I can.
Yeah.
And then I revisit my moments, and then I recognize how powerful and how happy that makes me. And I was like, okay, I got to tune back into that channel.
Yeah. Oh, that can be so hard sometimes, though.
Yes, totally. It's
But
a challenge.
that's awesome.
It's
You're
not
able
easy.
to like find your inspiration in your previous work sometimes too.
Which is why I keep like, you know, a nice place like on my website or on Behance. I love showcasing my work there too. There's a lot of really great creators on Behance that will respect your work. You know, they're not gonna like just fly past it and be like, oh, whatever, because they themselves create work like this. So therefore they kind of just have a different sensibility to how much energy and how much talent was actually required to create things like this,
Yep.
right? Like we just, a musician listening to music is totally different from like
Yeah.
a novice ear.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. So that's popping up pretty easily there. So we're
Well, and
gonna
that's like an interesting point you're making too, of almost like to like the layman, this or like the general Instagram audience, they might not know how much goes into even creating this reel because you're making it so kind of like seamlessly, quickly, like it's so effective. But like to most people, they're not going to know or appreciate the amount of time and thought that went into it. So it's like I appreciate this audience and like the Adobe Live audience and working here with you because we can appreciate that like this still takes time.
Yeah.
Like it looks good, it looks really smooth, but like most people don't know how long it takes to make something like this.
And it's a real person. I did have a time where I used to have to tell people didn't know what graphic design was, at least in my environment, you know.
Yep.
I grew up in a Latin community. Like we didn't grow up with tech all over the place.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would tell them like, yeah, graphic design is like, you know, have you seen that logo? Like somebody made that.
Yep.
And
Somebody
so,
spent
like,
a long time making that.
there's so much access to visuals today that we maybe appreciate the time that it takes.
Yeah.
But I just want you to hone into your own artistry and not get caught up in all that.
Yeah, it's easy to take it for granted for sure.
Yeah.
Voodoo Val says sometimes you need to remind yourself that you can do this. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And if you can be your own cheerleader or like be your own inspiration too, that's like amazing.
I love that. So we have here another opportunity to create a visual that bring in a visual. So we talked about 3 different types of visuals. The visual that is your artwork, right? So it could be your photography, your art, your illustrations, you know,
Yep.
or your typography, expressions, whatever you want to showcase. Number 2 is generative AI, right? So I want to go in here, and so instead of, I can also browse stock just as well.
Yep.
So I want to bring in some cool, fun elements. So I'm going to do a text to image in here, and I'm going to do widescreen. This is a horizontal variation, but I know that if I rotate it, it is just the right size that I need for
brilliant.
a 9:16.
Love
So
that.
this so far is just a blank page, and this is going to be our blank canvas. It's going to give us our generated whatever we want. So gosh, I don't know how Adobe Express did this, but they really have honed in to like making available so many assets that I already used in my workflow. Like I knew I had to find patterns. I knew I had to find like backgrounds and things like that. They have stuff like this. And now I get to just invent them. So I'm going to do maybe definitely start with the color rainbow. Rainbow. When?
Colors.
Rainbow colored line patterns, maybe balloons textured.
Keys in the chat said
Lines,
something
patterns,
about the people in your photos, that they're artists and they're canvases themselves, which I think is a really nice,
Oh, that's awesome.
really cool way of looking at it.
Yeah, I hope you are able. This is ultimately a montage, okay? So you can add anything you want, anything you created lately that you want to bring out of the darkness of those digital folders. In here, I'm going to put a graphic. I want to generate a graphic. I want it to be digital art, and I want it to be neon. Ultimately, I'm trying to create textures and points of interest. I'm not claiming that to be my end-all, be-all art point. So these are supplemental elements. So hopefully this prompt is good. I don't remember what I wrote last time, but here we are. So this is the part where we get to allow this to kind of think based on the parameters we gave it. So content type, generation, and so forth.
Wow.
This is kind of interesting. So I did put pattern in there. I think it's really good at integrating that that key in there, so I can put it in the
Cool.
background.
Yep.
We can do something maybe a little bit rainbow colored. Did I say balloon texture? Okay, so balloon texture, right? So I have style and composition here available. Kind of nuts that I have that. So if you're familiar with Adobe Firefly, we have these reference points that we can use. We can use the style of something, or we can use the composition of something.
Okay.
And I have a lot of really cool photos, right? So I thought, what about if I grab little ingredients from there? And so I got AI texture references. I have this photo right here on the edited images. I think it's one of these horizontal ones.
Yeah, I remember which one. Oh, yeah.
The balloon one, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so let me see if I can find it. Here, that.
Yep.
So what I did is I grabbed a little dice, like a little cut, to use it as my reference. So let's go into the textures. I have that balloon.
Yep, that's
And
perfect.
I can do like, that's the style that I want. I don't actually have a composition in mind, so I'm just gonna leave it as styled. Light color, balloon texture, lines, patterns. Let's generate that again and see how that influences that background. But as you can see, it allows this image to kind of stand out for a second and become a point of intrigue.
Yeah.
Because we're competing with a lot of things, Shirley.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, it definitely got some of that balloon for sure.
That balloon kind of texture in there. I think last time I did like neon. So you can play around here with this. But of course, we do have to introduce it at the right timing of the timeline.
That's
so
cool.
here it comes in. Maybe there is this one first. So we got to make sure. So it's a little bit like nudging the time. It gives you like 3 seconds. If you want to zoom in even more, you can go like this. Or of course, if you have a Mac, then you can, just zoom in that way. But that's going to give you like room for you. I should have been doing this all this while. Okay, that's going to give you room for you to be like, okay, 1.6 seconds, this appears, then the balloon will appear.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what we want.
That's so cool. I mean, it really looks like there's a hot air balloon right behind him.
Yeah, right. For a
wild.
second. I didn't really mean for it to be super realistic, but it's just, you really don't know. It's like kind of playing, I don't know, it's a very randomizer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to kind of like push outside of your box too. And
I
like,
can put it behind
you
him,
might
I
get
think.
an effect that you weren't exactly expecting, but that can work really well and like that produces really nice results still.
I think I'm gonna put it behind him. Yeah, totally. I think it's nice room for play of things that you don't have, assets that you don't actually have. So like it goes like this, then is that one, then it should be the complete one. There you go. Now we're talking. So I'm gonna implement a couple more here just to give you more ideas of that variation. And so far, I've used my own assets. I've grabbed some textured assets too, and some AI assets. Let's do one more photo here.
So we got a good tip in the chat too. Raphael said if it's difficult to come up with a prompt for like an image generator, asking ChatGPT to come up with a prompt for you.
Oh, so smart.
That is smart. And he said he's
Yes.
heard of that on like previous Adobe Lives before as a nice tip. So.
Oh, that is so good. I
Yeah.
actually use Gemini quite a lot, as opposed to ChatGPT. I know ChatGPT it's like one of those. Where
It
it's
definitely like has a corner on the market,
like,
but
yeah, but totally the same thing, kind of. I think the key with AI in any which way is to have almost like this figurative other person to bounce off ideas of.
yep, definitely.
And treat it as such, and you will have a lot of fun.
Well, and it's cool. It's funny to think about like using AI to like help you use AI, right? But like that's exactly what Raphael's suggesting, and it is. I can like absolutely see how that would work because you're using AI as a translator to like help you better communicate with a different AI system.
Yeah.
It's smart. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think like it is a learning curve, and a lot of people are still kind of in the beginnings of it. So you have to kind of find what works for your workflows, like where are needs that you have, that if you could have somebody else brainstorm with you or somebody else give you just an idea of what that could look like, even if it's not the final one.
Yep. Yeah, but it's just like helping you along in the process.
Yeah, I've been incorporating, for the past year, I've been incorporating AI, just trying to test the waters, really, and seeing like, okay, where do I fall into all this? Like, what do I like about it? What doesn't work for me?
Yeah.
You know, where are my limits? You do have to have a sense of like boundaries for yourself, whereas like, okay, this is not quite my craft, but this will be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tool ultimately at the end of the day, right? And it's a tool that's sort of like, it's how we use it is entirely determined by us, and what we can like produce with it is determined by how we use it. And so it really is just like learning to refine your skills with it, right?
And I'm glad you're in that headspace also, because I mean, for us, like we've been in this industry for a long time, and I don't know if I can say this for both of us, but it changes so much.
Yeah, it does.
It does all the time. So it is a good rule of thumb to kind of just stay aware of everything and see what works for you.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly changed the way that I work in my design practice. It hasn't changed everything. It hasn't like shaken the system by any means, but it certainly has made an impact, and like it has made a like meaningful and like useful impact on my work.
Yeah, because you use a lot of Adobe. A lot of graphic design.
Yeah.
So like that is such an easy place to like incorporate AI.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of systems in graphic design that have always changed. It's as soon as like new technology pops up, we kind of accommodate it to that.
Yep.
So I'm going to kind of change this one a little bit and approach it in a different way. I'm going to duplicate this as well, and we do have like a couple. Let me see there. So I'm going to make sure it's in the center. Matching, yes, more or less, working. Okay. So in this one, I'm going to remove the background, and I'm going to add an effect to this. Yeah, it was slightly to the left. Okay. I'm going to add an effect. So in effects, you get to do this monochromatic almost filter on top of your image. And I think that could be a little bit of an interesting collage element. I love collaging. I don't know why, but it's just like, it's very playful, I think.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it makes it feel more energetic, a little bit more playful, more fun.
So I'm going to add an effect here to these two on the side. And it's, again, monochromatic, so it's based on one color hue, and it's just, or two color hues. It kind of depends on you.
Yeah.
If you want to customize it to.
Kind of giving Andy Warhol a little bit.
Oh, yes, there you go.
Yep.
Andy's,
Queer icon.
Andy's in the house. Perfect, right?
Yep.
Timing. And so we're going to do a little bit of this, I think, here. So I like the idea of, like, it comes in and the number 3 is always key in anything, like design, photography. It's just helpful. I don't know why, but it really gives it a different sensibility. So I'm going to bring this one in around here, and then be aware of when this one comes in. Maybe sometimes I get them too close together, but it's an experimental part here. Something like this, and then this one is going to come in later. So we still see kind of the photo behind it.
Yep.
And you can start to catch, like, the process itself isn't that complicated, and it does a really neat effect nevertheless. Let's see here, and I think this one, we're going to do it all the way at the end.
Cool. Yeah. It's cool too, because like you kind of start out with just your pictures, right? And then you're slowly like becoming a little bit more poppy throughout the course of the video. It feels like it's like building on itself.
Yeah, and then these are still my photos, and it's just like a room for you to be like, whoa, what are those photos? Can I see more?
Yep.
Oh, right, I just caught something that was really intriguing. For me, in my testing, things like 12 seconds, 15 seconds has been really active. And I think that that's not room for somebody to learn something. That's room for somebody to be entertained.
Yep.
And so that's okay. Like, we can lean into that. And so I love this one so far. So we've got 2 videos already, right? Just in doing that.
Yeah,
we're participating in
less
the
than an
real
hour.
world. Yeah, in less than an hour. So I'm going to say this is my second. This is something I love doing. I love being able to batch my work.
Yeah.
Because it's always helpful to not get caught up in that. Like, what do I post? Like, I'm not a robot.
Yeah.
And this, to me, it forces me to exercise my skills.
Yeah.
In a quick turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like feeling particularly creative, you can like just kind of bang out a bunch of things while you're sort of like in that creative headspace or in that like productivity headspace. And then, that's so weird, your chair
Yeah.
has a mind of its own. But yeah, it's cool to just kind of like capitalize on that moment, and then you've just like got it all saved for the future.
Yeah, totally. Raphael says, trying to do my Warhol portrait in Photoshop, but it was a disaster. I'm not an expert in Photoshop. Yeah, that disaster is potentially the start of something else, right? So this is why I love doing this too, is because it forces me to take out all the ones that I don't want.
Yep.
And then ultimately I find myself like, I'll have several artboards and then find the one that I really like.
Yeah.
Maybe as a different variation.
Well, and a process like this really just gets you to think differently about your work, you know? Like, it will help you sort of like shift. It'll probably even influence the way you take photos in the future, right? Is like when you start breaking them down in this way to like work as marketing materials, and it will probably change the way that you think about how you create things in the future.
It does. I think you're right about that. Yeah, it does help me like kind of construct how I think about it.
Yeah.
So in this one, I think I'm going to bring in, very important ways to consider this is I have a lot of static work, but I have kept that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I have asked like either my wife or a friend to like document me in the moment.
Yeah.
And so I call these SIN work in progress.
Okay, love that.
So it's like that's always the moment that I'm either working on my computer or I'm in my camera mode.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring in a few assets here.
So this is like the BTS.
This is the BTS.
Okay. We love a BTS.
We love a BTS, yes. So let's go in here into some of these videos we have here. Maybe I'll lower that. So that's just me taking photos. You can see all the
Cool.
tents in the back that I try not to
Yep.
get. And so we have these really cool moments here. And I was like, yeah. And then she was holding a dog. Actually, I didn't bring this photo out, but she was holding this dog. And also on a board, like riding a board. I was like, what?
What? That's so cool.
That's so awesome. I was like, hey. So I'm going to bring in these three. Now, bringing in different elements will result in you having different scenes. So that might not be what you wanted. So make sure that if you kind of batch upload them, you're aware that it's going to create different scenes. If you don't want that to happen, then just bring them in individually.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so in here, I think I want this little part. Wait, actually, I wanted this one because it's a little bit closer. So let's grab this. Let me, in this case, I don't want different scenes, so I'll bring those in a little bit later. Just wanted to note that. So we have this video here, and sure, I can do something like this and then add some text on top and call it BTS.
Nice.
So on and so forth. And like that in itself will lead into the photos that we're going to be showcasing.
Yeah, that's great. You've got like the visual cue. You're like showing yourself with the camera. So you're like introducing the shot.
Right. So that's already a nice element. But I do want to bring in a bit of layout design into this. So on my background, I created an Adobe Live color palette, similar to kind of gives a nice tonality to the rainbow, but not entirely the rainbow. So I can do like something like this, yellow, orange. Orange is actually kind of my color.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I love orange.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So one thing that I discovered here, which I loved, was that even though this is video, I can also use this crop element to be able to make it into any shape I want.
Oh,
so I can make a
nice.
heart if I want to.
Okay.
And I love doing things like this, like a circle, because it gives it that like kind of Wes Anderson vibe that
Yep.
we all love. I can't believe people had just discovered Wes Anderson. It's one of those things where I'm like, he's now mainstream. No,
Yeah,
I don't want it.
No, I know.
I'm just kidding.
He is, though, spreading the Wes Anderson joy.
Yeah. So now we've got this nice rounded layout design within my video.
Yeah, which
And
is like more dynamic.
more
and, like,
dynamic.
A little engaged, yeah.
So I think I'm going to add some text here. We haven't needed to add text just yet. What I'm going to do with this text, though, is I'm going to imitate that circle.
Oh, cool.
So we're going to have to make either a long sentence or a smaller font. So we can do Pride Photography. I always like spell things in Spanish in my head. Photography, and then we're going to find some fonts, maybe some recommended fonts because we have those available. again, it's just like little helpers. You know, maybe it gives you stuff that you like. I mean, this is based on the font I currently have, so I might want to explore some of my fonts and see if it goes elsewhere.
We've got Apurva in the chat. What's up, Apurva? Thanks for joining us.
What's up?
Hi, Cory. Hi, Sin.
Hello, hello. So this is our third video here. I know this feels groovy. This is starting to look like the vibe. Pride, did I put the right P there, or is it?
Yeah, there we go.
And so now we're introducing kind of different elements here. And I can do maybe align it here so it makes sure something seems off there. All right, there you go. And then one of the things I really love doing, and this is a nice trick because like you mentioned earlier, the hook, right?
Yep.
We need a hook.
Mm-hmm.
And we do need a hook. We just do, okay?
Yep.
The hook has been invented since like forever, for movies, for everything. So in this area of video as a medium, I'm gonna add a little bit of a visual hook, right? So we're not screaming, it's not an auditory hook.
Yeah.
But you can create auditory hook. I love creating things like a little ring or a little sound.
Oh, nice. Yeah, to like add into the
So
video.
you're scrolling, all of a sudden,
Ding.
and you're like, whoa.
Huh.
What
That's
is that?
interesting.
You know?
Wow, I've never thought about that before.
Yeah, so it could be neat to do stuff like that. We have a sound effects panel here too that we can explore. And so in here, in this scene, although it comes in second, I'm going to move it to the beginning. And I'm gonna make sure this one is actually in black. And we're gonna create a visual one, a visual hook of sorts. It's just something that interrupts the scrolling as it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go into media. And we said we have 3 types of medias. And our third one is Adobe stock. So we have to go nowhere else because it's already here.
Love that. So easy.
I know, it's so simple. It's honestly, like, it's already the workflow I would have to do.
Yeah.
But everything is already in place, and I'm shocked that it's made this way. It's like they really studied all of our workflows. So we're gonna go in here, and I'm gonna add something relevant. Like, I love film leaks, because photography, film leaks. You're like, okay, that's photography. So I love something like this. There's so many cool stuff here. Let's see, we drop something like this, and then change the orientation so it fits into our scene. Whenever I find, like, I see film leaks like this, or like the lighting in my studio is looking like this, I stop and try to take these textures because I love having these mini clips.
Yeah.
But I can't believe there's a library of things like this, of this curation, because it used to take me hours to find stuff like this. So let me play it so you can see. Right, so that's like a quick little clip. Did you feel it?
Yeah, it was like,
it's just like
blink and you miss it.
So we're gonna add a transition so that transition feels more natural. Transitions were introduced in here a little bit later too. I'm glad that they're here. We get to transition between 2 separate scenes. So we get to do a quick dissolve there. If we want to just blend things together, this is something that we use even in the Pro Tools. Premiere, dissolve is like a default for even my audio, for everything. So the fact that it's in here, it's like, okay, like, there's a lot of room for you to have more precision.
Yeah, and I just want to call out, we've only got about a minute left.
Awesome.
So we are going to have to start wrapping up pretty soon, but do you want to like sort of walk us through really quick what you've worked on?
We've covered so much
Yeah,
in here.
like truly.
It's going to be so awesome for you to experiment. So we got to do a lot. Ultimately, what we're trying to do here is to showcase our work in different fashions, whether it's for entertainment, ultimately creating a lead for us to have those projects. Once you're done, you're able to share it, by the way, on anywhere you want. And I love sharing it directly into the scheduled post.
Okay,
because
awesome.
in here we get access to so much more. So in here I have access to all of my channels. So Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, my gosh, like anywhere I want. And it, it sets it up for me.
So easily
integrated.
integrated.
Anything you ever see online, I probably published it through here. So yeah, folks, thank you so much for being here. This has been so much fun. Always.
Yeah. No, we had a great time.
No less.
And we will be back in just 5 minutes. You will be hosting, I guess, Jessica. She'll be doing some custom typography. So we're still keeping with the Pride theme today. Make sure you guys stick around for the next live stream in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, and show us your pride on the chat.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
Okay, thanks, y'all.
Hey guys, my name is Ashley. Follow along as I design wrapping paper. Every project definitely starts off with a mood board. I like to start off in InDesign. So start off with any size board. Let's throw in some guides. So there's no rhyme or reason how I'm doing my boxes. I'll kind of adjust as I drop photos in. As you see, I'm building the boxes to the grid line. So when you press W, you can actually have a full view. So here's my inspiration folder. Again, I kind of go through what I find on Instagram, things that just like inspire me and call me. I save them all into a folder. So then when I'm going to build out a mood board, I have something to pull from it. So I think we're done here. We can kind of go straight into Illustrator and start to get some designing. So now I'm just pulling colors to finalize the color story that I want to go with. So that's why I work with Pantone a lot, so that I can make sure that what I see on screen is exactly what I'll get. So now I'm just gonna start drawing shapes and see what pattern comes to life. So I created this kind of cool pattern that I had in my head. I drew a shape just to create a mass. First, you have to group everything that you wanna put in within the shape and make sure that it's in front. Select all, make a mask. So let's create a new pattern, and maybe it could be something cool where you have different circles that build out a pattern with different elements within. So far I just selected my circle. So you have different options within the pattern space. You kind of play around with the offsetting. So because this is a mask, you can always go inside and like tweak things, but with the pattern is like, it truly is trial and error. I did make my art board the size of the wrapping paper, which is 20 by 28. For this instance, I could just do an export for screen. It'll save it for high resolution. If I actually was printing this, I would actually save out as an AI file. So here are my mock-ups. But again, I created the design to scale. So if you look at the wrap, this is essentially how the sheet will cover the box. Before I created the pattern in Illustrator, but now I'm just making little amendments here in Photoshop.
Hey chat, we're back. We're here, Sin and Jess.
Hi.
Say hello everyone on the chat, those of you who are just joining us, and thanks everyone else who's been tuning in on today's celebration of Pride. We're here in San Francisco, and we're gonna explore AI, Illustrator, and
Yeah.
Adobe Express today.
Yeah. I have some sketches ready, and I'm going to create some lettering / typography pieces in Illustrator. And after that, actually, I'm going to ask you guys to help me with the choices, the design choices, and then we're going to bring it into Adobe Express and
I love that.
animate it a little bit.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself also?
Yes.
For those folks who are not familiar with your work.
So I'm an illustrator and lettering artist from New York. And what else can I tell you about me?
That's it.
That's all you
that New
need.
York stamp is like, I'm cool.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
I run the Women of Type community on Instagram that exists to uplift and amplify the work of women and non-binary creatives in the typography and lettering space.
Bravo.
Check it out. Yeah, it's
I love
very
that.
cool. A wonderfully talented community. Okay, so let's
give us
get
some
into
hearts
it.
on the chat there.
Woo!
We're watching the YouTube, we're watching the Behance, so definitely ask us questions along the way. This is a participating live stream.
Yes. So I have 2 sketches here. I mean, like, if we have time, I can do both. I don't think that we have time. So I'm going to ask you guys to choose between these 2 sketches, these 2 color palettes, and then I have, like, a heart and sparkles, which the sparkles are a motif that I have in almost all of my pieces, but I'd love some suggestions on what else I can quickly illustrate to bring
How do you
into
make those
this
sparkles?
piece. Oh, I'll show you.
Do you make them on Illustrator?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm like, that looks very precise.
So while we're, I guess, if everybody wants to cast a vote on,
based on the
Yeah.
2 illustrations?
yeah, Proud of
Cool.
Every Part of Me or Pride and Type, and I'm gonna start kind of
Proud of
outlining
every
and
part
sketching
of me,
over.
pride and type. I love that.
Yeah.
Those words of affirmation.
Yes.
I know I fixed it for the next time. Cool. We have some rainbow hearts. I love that.
Yes.
And we have Jess, also Jess Love.
Hi. We love a Jess.
And Oliver, awesome. Yeah, so usually you start in sketch format. This is like a drawing, right? That
Yeah.
You did not digitally.
No. This is. I just scanned it in, so like I had it. And yeah, now I'm gonna draw the letters. I will say
Some people start like in fresco, or do you find yourself doing that?
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I also created a font out of this lettering style that I do a lot. It's not as perfect as I would want it to be, but also it's kind of like a bubbly handwriting, so it's not supposed to be perfect. But for the sake of this one, I'm gonna
Looks
start.
very similar.
Yeah, it's just like the regular type of thing that I do. PRDE. Anything else? T. Basically the letters that are in both of them are the ones that I'm going to start outlining, and then like once we decide which one to go with, then I'll move everything around.
Yeah, because they have common letter forms.
Yeah.
Basically, is what you're saying. Okay, cool. Pride and Type with the second palette. Ooh, the second palette.
Okay, cool.
I love that. I often can't decide things like colors. Color.
They are kind of similar.
So having the chat voting,
Yeah.
great idea right now.
I also will say, like, I'll choose a color palette and I'll be like, cool, let's go with this.
This
and
is
then
it, and then change it.
yeah, like as I go along, but it's a great way to like start off. It's a nice base.
So I see that you're making like different shapes for.
Yes,
So
and
it's
then
not a whole letter P.
No, I use the shape builder tool afterwards to like bring everything together.
Smart.
So like something about me, I really don't like using the pen tool, so I use the curvature tool, but I'm sure a lot of illustrators will disagree with me, but
You use the curvature tool.
this is my live.
So you're using the curvature tool right now.
Yes.
Cool. So it gives you more flexibility to guide like the line because you can see it.
Yeah, so you can do
Curvature.
that with the pen tool, right? But I am not good at it and I don't like it. see, you can still make curves.
Yeah, so the curvature tool gives you like that visibility of where the next line is gonna be.
Yeah.
So a little foresight before you commit.
Yes.
That's nice. I use that one too. It's really nice.
I find it to just be so much easier.
I remember learning the
adjust.
pen tool the first time. I was like, I'm gonna get good at this, because you would see some people that are like incredibly fast. But it is
second
challenging.
nature. For sure. I also have 2 types of E's in here.
Jess says, I love the second palette too.
Okay, I mean, seems like we might be going with the second palette.
And it literally looks like a makeup palette. So.
Yeah, that's fun. I didn't notice that before.
Yeah, I like making things like this, but I feel like you're understating. You're actually really fast at this. The pen, well, the curvature tool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like almost come as like second nature now. I use it every single day. So, and you know what? I like this Y better. So I'm gonna trace it.
Y's have so many variations.
No.
I have Y in my name, and
Oh yeah.
I remember one of my professors like doing a Y that was that like long with the long gosh, can you remind me the lower name, the lower part of a font?
Oh, I don't know.
The whatever. So
The flourish?
Yes,
You mean the flourish?
that bottom part.
Like the hook,
They
yeah.
just made it so cool, and I was like, wait, I've been doing my Y's like just straight and so dull this whole time.
I want to show you guys another way that I can
Descender.
do these letters. The what?
The descender.
Descender, yes. I'm really bad with like the terms,
The
and
terminology.
all of that. I didn't go to school, so it's kind of like I was just like, oh, you know, that one.
Yeah, the descender, the ascender, and
yeah.
the counter. Yeah.
When I do use the pen tool, I only use it in straight lines, and then I use like the curve tool to just adjust it as needed.
That's a cool hack.
Because again, like I
Right,
just
so you just
find it
pull
so much
on those-
easier. Yeah,
Those little dots.
and I can adjust the corners. That's what they are. And sometimes it ends up looking amazing, and sometimes I'm like, I need to go back in and adjust it. But I feel like so much of design is just going back in and adjusting things anyway. Wait,
Yeah.
so did we decide?
Yes, so we decided we like the second palette.
Okay, second palette.
And then Proud Every Part of Me.
Proud of every part of me. Amazing.
And then, yes, thank you, Val, for the poll. It's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and then you get to repeat some of these letters also.
Yeah, so much easier.
Pride and Type Y because of the cool Y. I mean, honestly, some of my favorite words have to include like some of my favorite letters, like the letter Z, the R's, E's are fun too.
I was gonna say, what is your favorite letter? We had a
favorite top.
yeah.
I mean,
Not like
anything like a G or a Y because of the
G.
bottom.
I love a
and you
G
can just
because
drag
a
it.
G you can just illustrate it and go on forever. It's so
That's funny.
fun.
Yeah, especially if it's like cursive or even non-cursive, you just give it that flair.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can encapsulate like an entire statement.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's Y keys. I'm sorry. Like, they're like, you have a Y in your name. Actually,
no, a Y is great too. I do like anything that has like that flourishy thing at the end of it. It's fun.
Yeah, I feel like with colors, I shift more because it depends on my mood. Or sometimes I'm like, oh, can I just stay with like 2 colors, like something more monochromatic? And sometimes I go
never.
wild,
like
with 5
physically
colors
unable
to do monochromatic.
I don't know if I've ever created something monochromatic in
Oh,
my
really?
life. I don't know.
You're like, that's just not.
It's just not who I am, and that's okay because I'm proud of every part of me,
There you go.
including the non-monochromatic parts.
That was very smooth.
Thanks.
That is cool too.
Yeah, I was wondering if I should keep the E's all the same, but I kind of like that this E isn't straight and it's in the letter.
I'm sometimes
it's in the word
careful.
me. Get it?
On that letter E, yeah, it isn't the same. Sometimes they look a little angry, like the little curves.
This one? Or the
Yeah, you know,
other
because
one?
it kind of has a face, and so you have to be like,
I kind of think these look more angry because
oh
they're
yeah, that
blocky.
one. Yeah, that's true.
They're more like we.
This looks more friendly.
Yeah.
Rafael. Oh, I'm partial to the K. Key says I'm partial to the K for some reason. Yeah, letter K's, X's.
K's
those
and
could be
R's are
cool.
very similar in that regard.
I feel like if you like letter K's, X, T's, you're a very rectilinear individual.
Ooh.
If you like R's, this is like astrology, but
I was gonna
typography.
say I'm gonna do a post about this.
But if you like
What your
R's
favorite
and
letter
Y's,
says about you.
if you like flair, then you're a little bit
Yeah.
more curvilinear. And you decorate your house as maximalists.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Very possible.
You're describing me.
Let's create another poll for this.
Okay.
That's
What's
so
your
funny.
let's create another poll. What's your favorite letter? What's your favorite letter to draw?
Yeah.
Not like your favorite one to, I don't know, like say or have in a word pronunciation wise, just your favorite to draw.
Yes, and try to think about it because
We're gonna judge you.
I mean, honestly, like the letter C for me, sin, it was never my favorite because I could never draw it. It would always look so wonky. And
It's a hard letter because it's like there's not a lot to it as
there's
a letter.
not a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would just look so mean, and I was just like,
I
ugh,
love the
why can't it be something cool, like I don't know, an S or something.
also such a good one.
Oh, you're pretty quick on this one.
I'm a professional.
Nice. I'm here for a reason here.
Yeah. I actually hate the letter B.
It tends to look like a U.
This one?
Not that one, but it could be really easy, like to mess
Oh,
them up.
sorry. I meant a B, but yeah, the V could end up looking bad. I just like made it a little tighter down there.
Another thing I love doing is like leaving a lot of space, kind of like what you did in that V at the bottom, because it reminds me a lot of like very groovy fonts, like disco, you know. And,
Yeah, that's
and
fun.
Those times people would use those platform shoes. So it's like your fonts have like platform shoes.
I love that you said that because on like my list of things that I'm illustrating next, just like for myself, are a bunch of like platform disco shoes.
Nice.
I love everything disco too.
Me too.
Like so much fun.
Can you believe there was like a time where people were like anti-disco? Like why?
Why? Oh, you hate fun? Okay.
They're like disco no more.
Sad.
Yeah.
Sad for them.
Hey everyone, I'm back a little on a break. Oh, awesome. Nice to have you back, Alessandra. I love that everyone kind of like jumps in, comes back, hangs out. Nice. Let us know if you're working on a project alongside with us. What are you working on? I know you're working on something. Whether you're sketching, that's a nice time to have, right? Like if you join a stream and just start sketching for no reason at all, just
Hanging out.
just
It's like, oh, something happened there.
a brain flow.
Yes. Oh, something happened here and I didn't like it. Okay, hold on. We got to fix that. Huh.
Choose your favorite letter. So we have the poll up. Choose your favorite letter.
Do we have like A, B, C, D, E, F, G?
Yeah.
or you just type it in.
Oh, Buddha's like, we've never made a poll this long.
That's so funny.
Did you do the entire alphabet? Oh my
Is there
God.
not an option to type in?
Oh my God. We did this for you.
Thanks.
Billboards for the bank I work for. Oh, cool. You're creating billboards. Oh my
that's
God. We were
fun.
just talking with Cory. It's like, when was the
Yes.
last time you created a billboard? Billboards are a funny thing because everything is actually pixelated in front of you, but because they're gigantic,
You
these little
can't tell.
pixels you can't tell.
I think about that a lot, actually. I think that's probably only like something designers
Or
think about.
you just wake up and you're like, there are a bunch of
Just
pixels.
like when I pass by it, like when on my way here at Kennedy Airport, there was like this big mural, and it was very obvious to me that it was like a watercolor painting that they vectorized, and I'm like,
Right.
you guys could have done this better.
That's hilarious. I think our brains are funny sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, that's why when they make like skits about like fonts, have you seen that one? Or like
On SNL?
Yes.
Yes.
you
I can't tell
understand.
you.
I try to show it to people that don't
No, they don't know.
know and they just don't get it. They're like, what is the point? they make fun of me for thinking
No.
that's funny.
Guess what? They're wrong.
Yeah. I'm like, you just gotta know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. Listen, I miss the colors. I don't know what's on the palette.
I will bring that back.
Yes.
I do think that we agree that we're going with palette number 2.
Palette number 2.
But if you like these palettes and want to take a screenshot and use them,
oh yeah, that's true.
go right ahead and then just tag me in it.
That tangerine is really pretty.
There's 3 of them.
Oh, I know.
Which one?
Do we see colors differently? Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah, definitely.
I think it's the second one in the first
This one?
row.
Yeah. I guess this is not tangerine. This
It's very
kind of
burnt
no,
orange.
this is definitely the tangerine. That's my bad. Sorry for
I was like, do we see color different?
For
I
sure.
freaked out for a moment.
No. I do think that we all see color differently, but like, okay, this is gonna get like kind of philosophical. Like, I see the color blue, and you also see it blue, but you see it the way I see red, but we still call it blue.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like, that's another thing I think about a lot.
Oh gosh. No.
Oh, okay.
You just messed with my brain altogether. This is the best riddle I've ever heard thus far. Number 2 won, actually. Okay, cool. So, yeah, the color palette number 2.
Cool.
The mixture. Do you ever use like Adobe Color to find color palettes?
I don't think I ever have.
Yeah.
We should explore that if we have some time.
Yeah, they're really cool. I mean, sometimes I feel like like I said, colors can get really tricky.
Yeah.
So I tend to need help in that front because it's like, okay, what's the difference between, it's not so much the difference, it's more like, how can I put a color palette together? Like the relationships
there's a
all the
lot of
colors.
color theory involved, and like, so, you know, like I said, I didn't go to school for any of this, but I think I've always had like a very solid understanding of color theory without even realizing it. But if it's not something that comes naturally, I'd imagine that it's hard to figure out, like, why isn't this working? Like, what's going on? Like, this weird contrast here and all that.
Yeah. I don't know if we can show my screen here, but yeah, I have Adobe color.adobe.com. There you go. And yeah, we can explore like different trends. And I mean, we're in Pride, so I think we can explore something like Pride. And I love finding colors in here. So if you are ever in like a pinch and you're like, okay, but I already know the rainbow color. How can I find different varieties?
Oh, I love that one that you were just on. No, the
why am I going up? This one?
to the left, up
To the left.
that one.
Oh,
love that.
That one's
It's
cool.
kind of similar to one of the ones that I have.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't hate me for this. I don't love the like classic rainbow pride palette.
I don't
like
either.
It's not. I don't know any queer person that like typically wears rainbows like that.
Like I'm not wearing rainbows right now, and I felt like very under rainbow. So,
I
okay,
mean,
but
the pin. You got the pin.
confession time. I brought a green shirt, and we have
Look,
a green.
we're both wearing.
We have a green screen, so I had to wear something else. But yes, I do like the rainbows, but I do have that kind of like resistance to wearing something that rainbow is. Like I think like characteristically where there's people in the LGBTQIA+ that are a little bit more introverted, and we like the pastel variation, you know, that kind of thing. So I love going into places like this to be able to like find a variation of something I already know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a resource for y'all. We can go back to your cool stream. So I find myself often using all these resources because I need a little help.
That's what they're there for, and they're great. They're so useful.
Yeah. Ooh, that T is tricky.
I know, but I like it.
Did you find yourself like, when did you find interest in typography?
So like,
when you were young, was this kind of like a late bloomer type of thing?
No, literally always. Like I love the idea of letters as an art. I've always loved and appreciated them. And I grew up in Brooklyn, so like a lot of graffiti around, and some of it some of it sucked, I'm not gonna lie, but some of it was really cool and really inspiring, and I'm like, wow, I can make a letter look a different way, but it still looks like that letter, and you know.
Absolutely.
It's
I
art.
actually do know. I used to really admire graffiti. There was this website at some point that I came across in my life, and I mean, I also grew up in urban areas like that, and I remember just it was the first time I saw graffiti digitized.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, whoa, what's happening here? And you know, graffiti is really good at like expressing something, but they don't care to be legible.
Yes.
In fact, like the harder it is, and the more it feels like a puzzle, and therefore it's intriguing. And I always kind of like wanted to understand how though, like how.
That's such a good way of describing it.
Yeah. And so I'm so intrigued that you were like also exposed to that.
Yeah.
Like, it caught your eye because, you know, for everybody else, it's just, okay, it's just a statement. It's just a letter. It's just type.
Yeah.
But these little type forms can have so much potential.
Totally. I was that kid in high school that was like drawing on everything all the time, and people would be like, "Can you draw on my sneakers?" And I didn't have the thought to be like, "Yeah, it's $20."
Oh,
I was just like, "Yeah, for
starting
sure."
your small business in high school.
I should have. I also should have bought a house in high school, but I was busy being
gosh.
15
And drawing.
and drawing.
Yeah, you were that kid. I would always see a kid drawing.
Yeah,
And be like,
that was me.
I would be like, mad respects.
I would get in trouble for it, like for doodling all the time.
Were you
Look
the
at me
one-
now.
were
It's
you-
my job.
I know. Were you the one that was drawing on like the board, like on the wood?
No, because then like
Carving?
I would really get in trouble for that.
I'm not saying that I did it, but yeah,
I mean,
it's a thing.
I'm not saying that I didn't, but I'm not saying that I did, you know?
Yeah, that's so awesome. And then Voodooval says, when I was little, I used to go running when I heard the train coming through town so I could watch the graffiti that came through
That's cool.
town. Whoa. I love that. I love, you know,
great.
just that motivation to make sure to catch it. I just saw a train running by and I was so disappointed that there was no graffiti on it.
Yeah.
On my way here, you know, the train on the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have a ton of. Okay, so I will say this. I do think that there's a significant difference between like artistic graffiti and graffiti that's just like a scribble that isn't art.
Oh, yes.
And I'm not really partial to that one. I'm like, if you're gonna draw over something, make it nice.
Yeah.
You know?
There's definitely categories of anything. Like,
Yeah.
Like I can imagine like there's some level of graffiti that I'm like, this feels more like a ready-made. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's already been, you just brought it forward.
Well, people use stencils too, which I'm like,
Oh, right.
no shame in using stencils in art. I just think if you're like thinking about like graffiti culture, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely
Do it
different.
yourself.
Actually, my hometown in Miami, there's a common
Wynwood? I love Wynwood.
Yes, Wynwood. Yes,
I go to Miami a lot. I'll
Wynwood
hit you up
loves
when I'm
you,
there.
by the way, because Wynwood is inspired by Brooklyn, Bushwick, you know, like Williamsburg.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a feud that happens every year. For those of you who know, you know, Wynwood was a very up and coming neighborhood. It had nothing but storage, like rooms, and now it's a thing. So graffiti was always on the walls until like street art came about. And street art is a little bit more like illustrations and maybe stencils. Maybe, I mean, some folks put like projections. And it takes a lot of time. I've watched them, you know,
Totally.
I worked there for like 3 years. And it was just hours and hours. And then somebody would come and do graffiti on top of it.
And that
By the
sucks.
end of the art season, which is like a festival that would happen there. But in a way, they had like this common understanding that this would happen because they needed to have that feud. And it would start this conversation about like, wait, what is the difference? Isn't street art also graffiti? Isn't graffiti also street art? And it was actually kind of cool because people would
Yeah.
talk about it and they wouldn't really destroy everything. There some good people would just
Yeah.
like kind of add on to it. It's almost like a collaboration. Like, you know,
what I
of
love
sorts.
about Wynwood is that it's constantly changing. It's like this art. It's this living art gallery that is just always changing.
in the streets.
Yes, it's so
It's
cool.
phenomenal. I live for stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of my inspiration, and it sounds like a lot of your inspiration too, is like very urban, inspired. This gives me that vibe, like a gigantic permanent marker.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I love that feeling.
Oh yes. We should have. We're gonna put in some ideas here for streams, like another camera here, and we'll just do like some sketching.
That's a great idea.
Oh, and then so Keith is saying Hollywood. Oh, Wynwood? No, yes, Wynwood, not Hollywood.
There is Hollywood, Florida, but that's residential.
Yeah, that's not, doesn't have like that kind of vibe. And then Jacob says, yeah, it's a neighborhood in Miami, Florida. Yes, and we're going to be in Miami for Adobe Max. So hope to see and meet so many of you out there. I met some of you in the past, so hopefully you'll get to join us there too.
Yes, that is the plan.
You heard it here first, so.
I might have said it before, but it's
Okay,
fine. You heard it here second.
You heard it here second.
So, okay, did you work at Wynwood Walls? Is that what you were saying?
No, I didn't work at Wynwood Walls. If you work at Wynwood Walls, I feel like you're just a curate showing art.
Right. Yeah.
No, I worked as a graphic designer and
so cool.
in a design agency, and we were there before it changed so much.
Yeah. Like
So
the
it
rent
was
is probably insane.
yes, and I also lived in that area,
Yeah.
and so I remember when it was not at all exciting to go there. It was just basically places where they'll have like all the mass warehouses and storage places. Yeah, nothing interesting, but that's just like the reality of kind of changing an environment. Totally. I feel like that's the beauty in it. There's definitely qualms that come with it, but yeah, I loved Wynwood for that sense. I got to see it from scratch, so that was really cool.
Same. I lived in South Florida for 2 years, not in Miami, but I did spend a nice amount of time in Wynwood, and seeing it before it was what it is now is, interesting. I think I was there like right at the beginning of when things started to change. So yeah, it was cool to see it then, and then
it gave me a different perspective on like Brooklyn and all these areas that definitely have shifted. We want to be able to keep that like managed control over like commercial establishments, right? I think that's always important. Like those neighborhoods didn't happen by accident. They happened because the people that live in them, they just can't help but create those environments. And so we got to protect those environments, but also the people that live in them.
Yes.
I think that's always important. And the same with artists, right? Like we want to be able to protect artists just as well. What is this that you just made here?
Oh, okay. I made a little ribbon banner thing just
that was
to put
so
the word
satisfying to watch. It was like watching you create the shadows also. So that's going to go like on top of it?
Yeah, I'm going to use my font. This is a custom font that I made.
Keys is like, Hollywood in Florida? Is that like Paris in Texas?
Yeah, Paris, Texas, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, create outlines. And
This
I'm
is
gonna
amazing, so fun, right?
adjust this a little bit.
Oh, so that's the font.
This is the font.
Oh,
It
wow,
looks
so similar.
very similar. Well, it's my handwriting, basically. I took the sketches.
Wait, you made the font?
I made the font. So, like, I sketched out, or like the entire alphabet and some,
That's a lot. That's
punctuation.
very time intensive.
Yes, but because I do a lot of work in this style, I figured it just makes sense for me to do this. Yeah. And then I used, I don't know, am I allowed to shout out a font making app?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay, so then I used Font Self.
Oh, cool.
And Font Self does
It's
make
kind
it
of
very
like a
easy.
very like, not a lot of people are very familiar with the process of making your own font. I mean,
Maybe we can do that on the next time I'm here.
Yeah. Fonts are made by somebody. It's how it works. But it's like, it's definitely like a lot of taking care of each and every letter form.
Yeah. Although I will say all of the fonts that I've made, they're not like available for sale. They're just what I use personally because I don't feel like they're necessarily up to par with.
No, don't say that.
Well, no, it's because they're doodled, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess there is a time and place for fonts like that, but
Yeah.
I don't.
Headline fonts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often come across a lot of really beautiful presentations on typography and font in font families and Behance. So I don't know. I would encourage you to look at them because they're really. It's just the way they present the font families.
Right.
It makes you see the potential of them. They can be used in different scenarios, and you can tell how much work went into creating those fonts
Yeah.
too.
Okay. How many people are on the live right now?
I don't know if I can see that number. Say hello if you're here.
Okay, if
She
every
says-
single person on the live follows
Agrees.
me on Instagram, I'll make it a font.
There you go. Let's do it.
You can follow me at Chick of All Trade or at Women of Type. Or you know what? No, do both. Do both.
Cool. Jeffrey Jess says, hello, typies.
Hi.
Keith says, I've watched documentaries about graffiti on the set in the 70s in New York.
Yeah.
That's cool too. Yeah, there's a lot of different places for inspiration. Do you find a lot of online inspiration? Do you find more like an environment inspiration for your type?
Both, honestly. Like being online and part of creative communities, there's so many talented people doing so many talented, beautiful pieces of work all of the time that it's like hard
so
not
true.
to be inspired by what you're seeing. But, you know, also just it's not just being in New York, but going to other cities and seeing what other people are doing out in the world, not just online, is, you know, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's so true. And I also think it's important to like give yourself a kind of a stop on like, okay, I'm taking in inspiration. Okay, I'm ready to output
Yeah.
expiration. Aspiration.
Exportation.
You know what I mean. You know?
I know what you mean. Yeah, doing the output versus just taking in what you're seeing, for
Yes.
sure.
There was definitely a time where like inspiration was not that easy to come because people weren't posting process. They were
Right.
probably posting like the final work only.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember like when the word inspiration became like this hot word.
Yeah.
So now I think, at least for me, I was speaking for myself here, but like I've been in the season of like just creating more and like quieting that and then allowing those like past inspirations to be like come up somewhere.
For sure. I get a lot of inspiration from like vintage products, vintage type. I love going to one of my
thrift
favorite
stores?
things. Yeah, thrift stores, antique shops, looking through like
Nice.
the book section.
I love that as an
That's
idea.
yeah.
Yes.
That's my favorite.
First of all, I just love thrift shops.
Yeah.
I find all my cameras there.
I could just like hang out at them and I don't even need to like buy anything. I'm
I,
like,
like,
I just
sit
love
there and
being
I'm like,
here. Just being here.
It's kind of like a library.
Yeah.
But for random things. Yeah, that's a good one. So if you're lacking inspiration, definitely check out either your environment, your urban environments that have a lot of urban environments tend to have a lot of clues of who lives in them, and or thrift shops.
Okay.
Jeff- Jeffrey says so true on the input and output. Oh, old records says Jeffrey
Yes.
has good type.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you both from Miami? Says Michelle. No, I'm based in Austin. I'm from Miami.
I'm from New York, born and raised in New York, still there, but I did live in South Florida for a little while, but I'm not from Miami. I also didn't live in Miami. I lived in Boca. It's a little embarrassing. It's just like so I was there for a work thing. It was before I was like doing what I love.
That's what somebody would say. I
Yeah.
was there for a work thing.
I was. Okay, another question for the chat for the community. We have this in the same bubble E letters and with this ribbon, but I'm wondering if I should switch it out. Actually, instead of switching it out, just make a second version. If I should
This is the flexibility of like vectorizing it.
Yes. And I do a lot of raster stuff too, but I mean, doing it in vector also, like, you know, it won't be pixelated like that mural
Wow.
at the airport.
Jeffrey saying, I just discovered you can book time in the Met Museum for print and documents department.
That is very cool.
That sounds so awesome.
That's really cool. Okay, I do need everyone's help, and I can adjust this to make it look like a little bit more tightened up, but which version do you prefer? Ribbon or, I don't know, we'll call them stripes. They're not stripes.
Yeah, they're like exclamation points. Like,
Yeah.
Which one do you like? The ribbon or exclamation stripes?
And while that's happening, I'm gonna adjust all of this. Like, why does this line look so weird? Interesting. Okay.
Oh, and Keys is referring to the Berlin Wall having graffiti as well.
That too.
Wow.
That is also very cool.
I mean, typography has so many like leaps and bounds of like expression. Definitely kind of like a later thing, you know. We didn't have like our ancestors like, you know, creating type in caves, but now we've developed like our own art form of like expressing kind of like more bouncy, interesting type forms. Have you ever seen like the forms like, for example, like kanji, but like expressed with like different styles of fonts?
What do you mean?
Like Japanese letters, because they tend to look like a symbol.
Oh.
So you're like, you know,
Okay,
wait, hold on, I can choose a different font for this too.
Yeah. I've seen it. I don't speak like any Asian languages. I'm not able to read them either, but I have seen it. And like I really, because they're symbols, I love seeing them when they're in use and like almost as like display types where there's like some 3D and stuff. Maybe it's like, 'cause, like
They just look cool by default. I
yeah,
think.
they're like their own illustrations.
But you know, it's funny because I've been to Japan and I found it so intriguing to see them wearing English words in the same way that we wear like words in their language, because it just looks different and it looks so intriguing.
But then you also see the ones where like
and the statements are actually don't make sense.
So that's why unless I know what something means, I'm not wearing it on a shirt.
Yeah, that's true. But in that point, then if the statement doesn't make sense, what is really standing out to them is the type.
Yeah,
it's just the
that's
type
true.
alone and the way it makes them feel, the ligatures. He says ideograms. I don't know what that is, but I'm curious. Okay. As a therapist, illustrator. As an art therapist and illustrator. Oh, we got an art therapist on the chat. That's awesome. I tend to agree. Going outside for inspiration, says Rafael.
Yes.
Mindfulness and refresh my process and my projects. Simple tip, but we need to do it for the work and the mental health, I think. Absolutely. Absolutely. And a walk in the park, a quick walk with your dog. Just walk anywhere to let those ideas simmer. It's probably an understated method that makes you a creative genius.
Yeah. I mean, it just clears your mind, you know?
It does. And it lets like just your ideas come through somewhere. Because otherwise it's like, our brains are kind of like a computer. They can be overloaded.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Did you add a gradient to that color?
I sure did.
Ooh.
I like using gradients a lot, too.
Gradients tend to intimidate people, right?
Really?
Yeah, because it can get so complex so quickly. Oh, no.
Oh, you mean like
not
people,
like that.
Okay.
Oh, no, they can't look at them.
Yeah, like, oh my God, please, no, anything but that.
No, I mean like they can look really funky really fast. So it's like, okay,
so
would you have any recommendations? Like you have two color hues? I mean, two tones.
So like you see how this like is overlapping and like you can kind of see it. This is just what I like to do. It's not necessarily like a suggestion or a fix. Done.
So they look like separated a little bit.
Yeah, you just like put that line there, but you're not using like the full outline.
In white?
No, I'm gonna keep it black.
What?
Like that. And then once I do it on all of the letters, it's
it'll
gonna look
make
a lot
sense.
more. Yeah.
Okay, kind of like a highlight, but like a shadow in this case.
Almost, yeah. It's just like to separate it.
Yeah, because I might do that, but in white.
Right, so make it look like there's a space.
Yes, so it's interesting because you're doing that the other way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I like to.
Oh, thanks, Key. So the word for Chinese and Japanese symbols is called ideograms.
Oh,
not symbols.
Okay, that's
because one character refers to an entire idea. I love that.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I think the graphic design in me is like always intrigued to see them because you know you think about logos and you think about how many meanings can I add to a logo. And
Yeah, that is really
seem
cool.
to
It's
have the
like
same
they're
approach.
like kind of like their own logos.
yeah.
Oh, that's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm really liking how you're using the gradients in this.
Thanks.
I'm always
I,
like, and when I said people are intimidated by gradients, I meant
I know. I thought
intimidated by gradients.
I thought you meant like consumers, and I'm like, oh,
No.
that's why.
It can. I think it's the color thing. Oh my God, Jess! So astonishing to see how it comes to life with colors.
Thank you.
And so, P.S. I'd switch on choose the ribbon too. Yeah, so the ribbon is a good call.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Okay.
Is this going to? Do you have a vision for like where you want it to show up?
I think it would be
a
really
t-shirt.
cute, yeah, as either like a T-shirt or a sticker.
I just bought a T-shirt from an artist. It took a long time to get to me.
Yeah.
So I couldn't wear it today.
Oh, it didn't. You
It was a
didn't
pride
get
shirt.
Oh, nice.
It says "Y'all means all."
Cute. I like that.
I'll wear it on my stream somewhere.
Okay. Okay.
But this
gonna
could
leave
be a
this
cool
white.
shirt. Proud of every part of me.
Yes. Let's do.
Let us know in the chat if you want this to be on a shirt, on a
Oh,
mug,
yeah. I can.
or the background of your laptop. Have you ever thought of that? That could be cool.
Yeah, I can turn this into whatever you guys want. Not whatever, but actually, you know what? With print on demand options, it could be whatever you want.
What else can you print on demand?
Um,
Like your
I think
pencil.
I haven't seen a place that does.
T-shirts, hats, definitely wearables, right? Like
Yeah.
things like that. I love a simple poster. Like if
Yeah.
I can put it on my wall,
I did design a really cool poster,
especially type posters. Because
but it's not here.
Michelle says it looks so good.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna switch the color up.
Oh, we have Jess from the Women of Type.
That's me.
Oh wait, what? That's you?
Where?
How did you write? This type is perfect.
Oh, that was on yours.
Oh. Okay.
I really liked it.
That's awesome. Oh, my stream.
Yeah, on your stream.
Got it. Okay, I had a. Wait, how are you there and how are you here?
It's magic.
Cory graphic designer.
I don't know why I'm having an issue with getting this gradient to
Ooh,
work.
a tattoo. Okay.
Oh.
Way to push.
I am yet to have somebody tattoo my work on them, but if you want to,
It's a really cool experience. I
yeah.
tattooed myself a work of art, and then my partner, my wife, tattooed herself the same work.
that's very cool.
Yeah,
I have my
it's
own
this
work on a tattoo, but I don't
Yeah.
have somebody else's. Oh, that's broccoli.
Oh, I can't. That's broccoli, just in case.
I love broccoli. It is my favorite food.
Oh my
It's
god.
in my top 3. I don't care what anyone says. I love it.
What about celery?
Yeah, it's not in my top, but like I enjoy
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I wouldn't tattoo it.
Yeah. I mean, most.
Broccoli, yes, I'll tattoo it.
I was gonna say I don't think most people would tattoo broccoli either.
That's hilarious.
But I also felt, it was like kind of unique, assuming that most people don't have a broccoli tattoo.
A tote bag, of course. We
Yeah,
can't go
that's
wrong with a
true.
tote bag. Oh, a bow tie. That's awesome.
Wait, okay. I have a question. How?
I don't know.
Like, how do
Maybe
you
it
turn-
becomes a pattern.
I love patterns. I've been obsessed with making patterns
broccoli.
lately.
I love patterns.
I've really been into making patterns lately. It's like I spent,
And I love the letter Y.
yes.
Next time you need to write a bio.
I love the letter Y. I love patterns.
Wow, that's cool. I like how this is coming out. I'm intrigued that you're not using like the outline part. You're like just keeping those colors.
Yeah.
It makes it look different.
Sometimes like, okay, I'm just going to do like a quick, are we running out of time?
It's a little bit. You have like
Okay.
10 more minutes.
Okay. So I'm just going to, I'll continue this at another time, but I'm going to make all of these just one color just so just so we can bring it into Adobe Express and I can show you what I have in mind for that.
True.
But keep in mind, this is not the finished. I'll do the finished
They
one.
know. We're like always on like.
Yeah.
We should have a timer.
We
Make
should.
these a little bit challenging.
Yeah. Like,
You've got 1 hour. Go.
give me 4 hours.
That's the reality, actually. That's how it actually goes.
I thought I was being smart. Like, oh, I have my sketch ready. Like, I'm good. I have all the time in the world. Nope.
Oh, Jess, thank you. Jess says, oh, Sin, such a cute story about the tattoo. Yes, it's a very special thing when you can
that's us.
have somebody tattoo your work.
Yeah.
Definitely reach that
How
goal.
do I?
You will
This
reach
is
it.
us. Oops.
Whoa, finish my typing of Pride and Type on my side. Oh, okay, awesome. Raphael's doing some work on their side
Can
too.
you send it to me in a DM or tag me at Women of Type or Chick of All Trade?
Can you full screen Express?
Yes, I'm just gonna type in. Whoops. Wow, that kerning is bad.
That kerning is real bad.
It's because the font that I made needs to be really tight because
On
I didn't
purpose.
adjust it.
Chick of all trades. There you go.
Okay.
So go support,
Oh,
but also
I didn't
share
realize
your
there was
work.
a green screen behind us. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
That's why I
Okay.
couldn't wear green,
Okay.
and I forgot.
What am I doing here? Okay. Oh, okay. Hold
You're
on.
gonna import.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
poster.
copy everything before.
Or you can use CC libraries.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's always nice. I learned that from Cory.
When I found out that you can copy and paste, though,
What did it load? Yes, it did.
I lost it.
Oh, wow.
Because you can't copy and paste
copy
from
and
anywhere
paste
else.
into Adobe Express. Is that what you're saying?
I think you can copy and paste back and forth. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure, but I think so. And that was really exciting to me. Okay, I'm just gonna do one by one for now. I'm gonna make the background color black, and let's go. Here's stuff, libraries. It's
I love
happening.
that Raphael was working on their own
Yeah.
type. Definitely share it.
Please.
Women of Type. Raphael just added the link in there too.
Hmm.
We have the link on the chat also.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Okay, CC libraries.
Right? It's like immediately there. Okay, just gonna. And you know what? I don't love that this is the same color, so I'm gonna change it. Custom.
Using effects. Cool.
Yeah. So more colors. Let's see, let's do like. Oh, I love green like that.
I know,
That
I
feels
love
a little
green.
too
I love that
bright.
green too. I was a little disappointed everybody didn't choose the left one because I had that green.
I will make that one separately for you. Okay, let's. And let's do. I'm rushing.
And then you'll have more time
Yeah.
because you're going too fast.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think I'm convinced between you and Cory's like CC library use to get to like travel over from Illustrator to Express.
Yeah.
That was super fast.
It's so fast. It's
I think
great.
like I've always kind of just resisted it because I thought, oh, this is gonna take so much time.
No, it's so fast and it's so great. It's one of my favorite features. Okay. Let's do animation in. I want this to like jump down, bungee down.
Do you have a favorite animation?
I really like the bob. I think it's so cute.
That is cute, but that's
Yeah.
like in the loop, so that's the whole
but
duration.
to bungee and I'm a big fan of the tumble. I think
Yes,
it's so cute.
That's the one that I love. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm gonna do. Oh, whoops. Animation. I'm gonna tumble, but I'm gonna tumble in from the other
left,
side. Yeah.
from the right.
Animation.
That's so cool because you get to like bring the
Yeah.
artwork to life.
Whee!
I know some of them are like so fast.
Yeah, you can adjust the speed also.
Yes, the default is usually like very hyper energetic. So you can always double tap and go in there.
Sometimes I like
Adjust it.
making all the animations something different. Like, okay. Like that's fine.
Oh, that's so
But then
cool.
you can group it. I don't know if you know this, and then you can loop them all to do one thing.
So the ongoing animation. Ooh.
Right?
That is a really cool hack. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So first you did them separately, and then you did a whole
like,
grouping
wiggle.
animation.
No, I don't like that one actually at all. Whee!
Wow.
Okay. Pulse is fun. Breathe. Yeah, I like this. And then maybe we can do out animation.
It looks so different on a black background, and like your little lines.
I know. That
kinda
was going to be
look-
like my big reveal at the end,
Yeah.
but ran out of
They're
time.
hilarious. Yeah, like the little black edges are like the negative space now.
Yeah. Proud of every part of me, and then wee. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Voodoo Val, for adding my YouTube in there too. Yes. And you can DM also Women of Type on Instagram,
Yeah.
right? To share your
Sure
work.
can. Tag me in it. I
Cool
kind of.
backgrounds.
I
Ooh,
love. Look at that.
I love that one.
Oh, what happened?
Why am I obsessed with checkers? I don't know. Whoa.
Okay, hold on. Something really cool is happening right now. I'm gonna copy this.
And they're like warped and
Yeah. This is the bottom one. I'm going to no. I'm gonna keep the animation.
Jess, oh, I'm glad to hear that. Jess says, gosh, this live was so special, so inspiring. The creative piece on screen
thank
in the
you.
chat. What a gem.
You're great.
That's it. We can go home now.
Okay, bye.
We got our comment of the chat. I wish we can give you a little like award in the chat because you deserve it, Jess. You, Jess, and you, Jess.
Oh, two of us.
Two
right.
of us, yeah, no less.
Okay. I'm attempting something. We'll see if it works.
Here, are you
I'm
going
turning-
monochromatic?
No,
Are you-
no, I would never. Don't accuse me of that.
You did not see this. Close your eyes, everyone.
I'm trying to make kind of like a drop shadow. I know that you can do a drop shadow, but what I would love to do is see if I can put a stroke around it.
And animated?
Sort of. Like right now I keep hitting the same incorrect button. Right now it has the same animation and the same, I guess, like non-stroke. But does anybody know if you can add a stroke to something in?
I don't know. I don't think so. I want to say
Let's see.
no. Alejandro Rodriguez. Cool. I'm just joining, but we'll be catching up later. Greetings from Uruguay. Yes, we still have more streams to come. So thank you for, wanting to stay tuned. But also remember, all of these streams, you can restream at your own pace. And I would for this one for sure, for all of them. So stay tuned for the upcoming ones. We're happy to have you here, Alejandra.
Okay, so this is far from perfect, but I wanted to kind of do like a black stroke around the entire thing. Like I said, far from perfect. However, whoops, I'm gonna group all that. Let's see if this works. Hey, okay,
Whoa,
cool.
it lined up exactly.
Yes, it sure did. That is super cool.
When did you do that out animation? I didn't even see it. So do you want to go over what we went? We did. There's a lot that you did.
There's a lot that I did. I went really quick through it. I took my sketches in. You guys chose the Proud of Every Part of Me, chose this color palette. I did have some other font options, but didn't end up using them. And yeah, then
the
created
chat chose the color palette.
Created the words, created the letter forms, the colors, and then we brought it into Express and we made it move, which is always so fun. Also, I see a very beautiful color palette on your screen.
I do. It's my it's from the color. So we also used a resource. We learned about color.adobe.com. So you can go explore your colors if you feel a little bit like, wait, what is the color relationship? What color palette's going to create? Or you can screenshot your color palette, which you have a nice variation there too. So this has been super fun.
Thank you. I've been having
I feel like
a
I'm
very
going to
good
join
time.
your workflows more often.
I'm
going to New York. That's it.
Are you really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no.
I wish. Ugh, give me an
You
excuse.
can.
Give me an excuse. Thank you, folks. Thanks, Jess, for being here. This
Thanks
has been
for
so
coming.
fun. Stay tuned for the upcoming streams. And remember to say hello in the chat. Don't be shy. Thanks. Everyone. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Adobe Live. My name is Sin Lagos, and also joining us today is Tim Philippus. Hi, Tim.
Hey, I'm a landscape and travel photographer and also, as of lately, like a travel videographer based out of Frankfurt here in Germany, where I'm calling from right now.
I know you're going to be doing some compositing today.
So the first thing I'm going to show you right now is this image here. And with this image, I'm just gonna show you my basic workflow of what I'm doing in Lightroom. First of all, in general, I use Lightroom for general adjustments on a photo. Like I don't use any like super fancy tools here. I only use like gradient tools, for example, the basic color correction tools, because everything else that I don't want to just globally like I do in Lightroom, we want to do later on in Photoshop, because we have so much more control over that in Photoshop. So let's jump right into the edit. I just adjust the exposure a little bit so that my subject area is well exposed. I just use gradients to bring down the exposure in the sky. And I nearly always do that. I always add like two different gradients on the top and on the bottom of the image, and then add like a soft radial gradient. And this is all in order to guide your eye towards where I want the eye to look at. The three different steps of getting your light really soft. So the first would be sunrise or sunset, and then make sure the light comes in from either the left hand or the right hand side of like a 90 to 45 degree angle, I would say. The second would be what we're doing now in Lightroom, adding a radial gradient. And I do that with every single one of my photos actually. And I just try to make sure it comes where the natural light source is coming from, because the sun was rising from the left, right? Bring up the exposure here a little more. Then I'm gonna bring up the temperature as well, because light usually is warm, or like the sunlight is a little warmer than what we have here in the shade. Then really important one, bring down the clarity just a notch. And then also I want to decrease the blacks so we don't miss out on the nice contrasty area that we have here. I really like to globally bring up the whites until they are nearly burning out, and then drop the shadows like the blacks until they're burning out just like a little bit. A really big tip that I can give you, and that it's a no-brainer but also a game changer. You've been working on it for like 3 or 4 hours. Step away, maybe sleep over it, and then the next day I'll look at it again. Yeah. What do you think, Sin?
Photoshop?
Should we move on to Photoshop and let's see what we got there? You need to see how important it is to have your vision right before. So we have this photo here of me standing here, and then nice light, even though it's like really harsh on that side still. Then we have the afterglow. Then we have another day of shooting where you can see the scene drastically changed. So what I would like to create is to get the best out of all of these photos and combine them into a photo where I would have optimal conditions. So the first thing that we're going to do here, of course, like duplicate the background layer, but we want to get rid of like all these people here. I just use my polygon lasso tool to just detect all these people. And then I go to edit and then fill, and then content aware fill. Oh, well, okay, that works quite magic. An easier one, you can always use the spot healing brush tool. He's rather small. So for example,
that feels a little bit easier.
What we are going to do now is bring it into 4x5 format, and then we start to recompose it a little bit. I would use the rectangular marquee tool, and then I would scale up these mountains from the ground, and then press Command T and then tilt them up so they look a little bit more dramatic. So I personally don't have any issues widely enlarging that mountains because I know in reality they look bigger. Usually what I would do is just like fill this area here with the sky and then sky replacement. And then I would just insert one of my skies that I'm always using.
Nice.
And then also I would like to have a little bit more water in the scene basically. And then let's see how it looks when we brush this scene here in. And then also I just love to just like brush the water in.
Thanks everyone for being part of this session today and participating on the chat. Yeah, I think I really learned a lot myself. So thank you for showing us your entire workflow.
It was so cool. I'm just like, okay, now I want to keep going. I want to keep educating.
Hey everyone, we are back on Adobe Live. Cory is back. If you weren't here for his stream earlier, you are here for his stream now. Cory, do you want to introduce yourself again?
Yes, so thanks for sticking around. If we sticked around, I see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. I see Apurva, Keys, Raphael, Wade, you're new. Does that mean Val is no longer modding for us? Although I think I see Val still in there. Yeah, so if you are new, if you are just joining us, my name is Cory Hall. I am a graphic designer. I have been doing design work for almost over 9 years, going on 10 years, which is like a wild realization to make. And I do all sorts of graphic design work. I do like content, social design, I do web design, I do branding, I do podcast branding design. I work full-time at Stanford University, and I do a fair amount of like contract work on the side.
Cool.
My pronouns are he and him. I'm based in Portland, Oregon. Live there with my partner, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just like,
That's it?
That's it. That's all. That's all there is.
That's great.
So yeah, I don't know. This is like branding that I did on an Adobe Live like years ago. That's still at the very top of my website, so it shows you how often I update my website. I should update it more. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's who I am, and I guess kind of like I'll talk a little bit about what we're gonna get into today. You know, Pride Month. It is kind of, we're celebrating Pride with our live streams today, and so I'm gonna spend some time in Adobe Illustrator, showing people how to make 3D text. So I think my like kind of final goal is to make like maybe 1 or 2 different like 3D typographic posters with some various like illustration elements.
Are you going to, and I mean, I guess we'll see, but are you going to make the entire poster and all of the elements 3D or just the type?
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay, cool.
Kind of what I'm thinking. And I normally have a mood board, but I like couldn't really find images that were like exactly what I was trying to do. And so we're just going to kind of jump right into it.
Let's go.
I am going to start with just some really basic typography. Make it really big. And let's see, what's like a fun, like, be gay, make art is,
nice.
Seems like a thing. Seems like a funny thing. So we're just going to start with some like really simple typography. And one of my favorite typefaces is BD Caramel.
I like that.
I don't know, do you know
No.
this, it's like Bureau something. So if we go to fonts, it's this font foundry. I think it's based in the Netherlands, maybe. And they do the like craziest.
Oh, I like, what's that? Suds.
Suds is also really cool.
That's great.
But
I'm just going to download that real quick
do
while
that.
we're here.
No, yeah, while we're here, before you forget, download that. But Bureau Destruct, it's this font foundry, and they make some of my favorite typefaces in the entire world. And luckily, a ton of their fonts are on
Love that.
Adobe fonts, which means, if you're not familiar, which means you are able to download them and use them however the heck you want to use them. Based in Bern, Switzerland. So that's cool.
Awesome.
Readability is the underwear. Originality is the dress code. Okay, that is not what
great.
I would have thought to write, but they did it, and I like it. But yeah, they have like all of these really cool fonts, and so I don't know. I usually go for Caramel just because, and I think in this case it'll make a lot of sense because we're doing 3D type and we're gonna kind of like blow it up, make it look a little bit inflated, and so
I was going to ask if you have an idea of like which feature you wanted to use.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with inflate, and you'll kind of see why with some of the illustrations that I'm thinking, but caramel is great for that because it is so rounded. It already almost looks kind of balloony. And so it should just kind of lend itself well to this. And, you know,
I like the lowercase.
I like the lowercase too.
Yeah, it feels more bubbly.
It does, and it's like you get more of the personality of the letters and of the typography. So you just did a super cool typography tutorial.
Yes.
We're just typography girlies up in here, just doing our type stuff.
We're just doing gay type.
Doing gay type. What more could you ask for, honestly? Well, I can think of a few things.
Just
but
like a handful.
just a handful of things, but okay. So I could honestly spend forever like kerning and making everything.
Let's spend the entire hour kerning.
Honestly,
We could.
if I did
have an
that,
entire stream on kerning.
I would be. I don't know if the people in the chat would be happy about that, but like I certainly would be. Just like optical kerning too. I'm just like, wow, I am obsessed. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna stop myself from doing that now. And okay, so we're going for this inflate effect. I am going to, and thank you, Wade, for dropping in the Bureau Destruct
nice.
Adobe Fonts page in there. But I'm gonna go to Effect. I'm gonna go to 3D, and I'm gonna go to Inflate, just because I do.
You start with the inflate.
I start with the Inflate.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Oh, and I need to change the color because we can't see that. When it's all black, we lose the all of the dimension. So yeah, we're just gonna start with, and I'm just kind of gonna lay it out and sort of get a feel for how it all fits together.
1 hour of kerning sounds, ugh. That's what somebody wrote.
Who said that?
Keys.
Oh, he's. Yeah, I was about to make a joke that you can leave if you don't want to be here for my kerning, but I'm
No,
not
you
gonna.
have to stay here, actually.
You have to stay, but I'm not going to make that joke, Keys, because you're always the OG in my live stream chats, and I like don't want you to leave. So, what would you like to see me do 1 hour of?
What would I like to see you do 1 hour of?
Yeah.
Well, I'm really interested in your workflow because when I do anything with like any of the 3D tools, I do the 3D last.
Okay.
So I want to see you do whatever it is you want to do.
Mm-hmm. What about people in the chat? What do you want to see me do 1 hour of? If it's not kerning, Keys, what do you want to see? Okay.
Someone wrote, kerning is learning with a space in between every single letter, and I love that.
Listen, it is learning, okay? So I think I'm gonna kind of go for like a early 2000s Windows like clip art sort of vibe.
Yes.
Like let's do like early 2001 Windows clip art and just kind of see, like I'm kind of imagining like the grassy rolling hills in the background. Let's try Pinterest. That's not like really giving me a lot. You get a peek into my.
Love the aesthetic.
And maybe like not vapor wavy, but like maybe a little bit early Windows OS design. Let's see what comes up. This is almost like too early, but okay, like lightweight this, but like better.
Okay.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
I think clip art type. I'm trying to think of the keywords.
Yeah, like clip art typography.
Lettering.
Let's say clip art typography.
I'm getting flashbacks.
And see what comes up. I mean, I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at like the windows and the gray boxes, and it does have those like sort of 3D elements to it. think I'm almost like, and maybe like a blend too of like.
Are you thinking like
vaporwave.
Y2K?
Maybe a little bit of Y2K. Maybe a little bit of Y2K. I mean, hold on. Even honestly, like
that's cool.
Kind of this.
Yeah.
And this is like sort of vapor wavy, but I like these shapes. It's like looks very computer generated 3D. Like I'm not going for it to look like super realistic. I'm just going for, wow, okay, well, would you look at that? I do really like this vibe. And I even like how there are these like I don't know, this is maybe 3D, but it looks more like a one-dimensional element kind of like sprinkled in, like with these like very furry super 3D elements. So this is kind of our basis. There are some emojis that I was gonna play around with using. So I have like just a little trick.
This is from an emoji keyboard, yeah?
Yeah, so you can actually like type with your emoji keyboard. If you do, there's a certain keyboard shortcut. And so I like use that to kind of go in.
There's a little pug.
There's a little pug. I think I'm gonna do some various fruits, because fruity and gay just, I don't know, need I say more? And I don't know, maybe like a donut. Maybe, we're gonna just pull some of these and we're gonna see how now people are, Clever is talking about programming algorithmic tracking variables based on kerning. Clever, I don't even know what you're saying.
That's a lot of words.
I don't follow at all.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
I'm like, I got algorithmic, I got kerning.
You know what, actually, I take that back. I know what those words mean. I don't know what they mean together.
Put together into a sentence, I'm like, what are you saying? I don't understand. Okay, so
now they're illustrations.
So now they are just vector illustrations. And what I think will be really cool, what I've done before, is if we begin to make these
That's cool.
into cool,
I never thought to do this.
fun little 3Ds, now we've got this like very interesting looking clip art moment. And I'm praying that it doesn't slow my computer down too much. But
that's why I do the 3D last.
Yeah, I know. It's tough because it's sort of like,
I know, you want to see what it looks like.
I really want to see what it looks
So
like.
something that I do if like, okay, once I do the 3D and then I'm trying to like make some edits, you can just go into the properties and shut off the eyeball. So it keeps everything moving smoothly and then you turn it back on.
That's smart, okay. See, look at that. Like,
it's great.
Is that not just cool looking? I don't think this hot dog fits the theme, but I put it in because I just really want to see what it looks like when it's 3D. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
What? It's funny how it like almost kind of automatically makes it look like fully, oh, I want to see this
What
too.
if I'm interested in seeing how it looks if you don't inflate them separately, because they kind of end up layering on each other.
Let's just see. Let's play around with it.
I like it.
Because I think you're right. It's like if
They do a completely different...
Hold on. Let's do it this way. Let's do 2 ways. Apply inflate to the whole thing.
I might hate it.
Oh.
Yeah, see?
Ew.
That kind of looks like, okay, I don't know if you remember like these like puffy stickers. Yeah.
Yep, that is kind of what it looks like.
Part of it was like stamped down almost.
Yes. Yep.
There's a time and place, and it's not here or now.
It's not here or now. So my kind of the workflow that I was thinking of was really just that we want to take some things into Express. And so I'm going to add these as elements in a Creative Cloud library. So that way we'll have them as graphics, which should also kind of help us get around the problem of a really slow system.
Smart.
And I almost am liking like how it, like, I don't know, let's see how it looks if only certain ones are.
Well, you left like the shadow thing not inflated, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It works.
It said no. Oops. Hold on. View. Sometimes I turn on my perspective grid.
Okay, I'm putting in a formal request.
To make that go away
The
forever.
perspective grid doesn't need to be on like the immediate toolbar.
No, I like don't need it. Does anyone ever use it?
I don't think I've ever used it in my life.
I've literally never used it. And then you have to go into the menu to turn it off, you know? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, leave me alone. Okay.
I'm excited for this one.
I think that, okay, so we'll see what I I'm really curious what the sprinkles are going to look like.
I'm also interested to see what the sprinkles would look like in, like, inflated with the frosting.
Sort of set into the frosting.
I don't think it'll look good, but I am interested in seeing what it'll look like.
Okay, so let's do that. Hey, go away. We're just gonna do whole thing.
Boo. Actually, you know what though?
It's kind of cool.
You can change that with the depth and the lighting.
Yeah, so let's
and
go
the
to
bevel.
our...
So I'm not totally mad at it.
I am making it deeper, but if we go to...
Oh.
Wow. Ew.
Boo.
Oh no. Oh.
Oh.
It's like, actually just kidding, it looks 3D, but it's actually just flat. Let's see. Perspective. Wow, freaky. Okay. It's wild. Volume.
Oh. Oh, that, okay.
It kind
That's
of,
interesting.
that is interesting.
That I don't hate. I wish that there was a way to have the sprinkles inset, but then also like coming out, like puffing up out of it.
Yep, and I'm sure that there is a way to do that. So I mean, if we could really go in and like play around with the different lighting options. I think Keith said that. But if we change where the light source is coming from, the rotation of the light source, like, whoa,
Yeah, that's
that is
cool.
cuckoo.
Ooh. I am yet to play with Adobe Dimension.
Yeah.
But playing with these tools makes me want to try it out.
Like, this still looks really cool in its own sort of like weird way. It's a fully different effect than this, but Jack says that they just came back in time for donuts. So yes, you did. Perfect timing, Jack. Oops, did not mean to do that. Okay, so what I'm gonna start to do too here is I'm going to make a new library. BK Make Art, and that's what the library is going to be called. And I'm going to start putting these in as graphics so that we can move over into Express. I'm also going to add these in.
I have a question that you may or may not know the answer to.
Okay.
So with the library, you can update the elements and then it'll automatically update in Express. Can you do that with the 3D effects, or once you put it in there? I've never tried it.
Let's see. I actually don't know, because if I go to,
like, is this, oh yeah, you can.
it is.
Okay,
yeah.
very cool. So like if you wanted to play around with the lighting and the textures and all of that, you could.
Yeah, I fully could. So that's really good to know. I didn't know that. This
Nice.
is the first time I'm like kind of doing this, but that's super good to know. Don't save. Okay, so we're gonna go over to Express now, and we can close all of these.
Jack Watson says, I love this whole thing. Me too.
Thanks, Jack. I love it too. We're gonna go, I think we're just gonna start with the square, because that's the way my brain works. And we're gonna go to media. We're gonna go to, I think I'm gonna go for grass right now, even though I did really like this. Where was the other one? There was one with like a weird looking guy and he had cloudy sky behind him.
I remember him.
But I kind of am liking this green background. And we're just gonna make this real big. Fill the whole background. And I kind of also just want to like, I want to make it look a little bit like weird and uncanny, if that makes any sense. So I want to bring
there's
the
something wrong
highlight.
with the screen.
Yeah, just like if we bump down the contrast, bump down the highlights, then it like flattens it a lot. I don't want to, even
Just a little.
just a tiny little blur.
It'd be cool if we could like pixelate it maybe.
Yeah. So let's see, because we have some effect control in here, but not so much. And so that might be a job for Photoshop later, but already I think that like kind of makes sense. And then I'm gonna go into my stuff. Libraries. Loading.
There it is. Gay B. Make art gay B.
KB? KB, okay. Okay, let's see.
Oh, I love the contrast of the orange. That looks great.
I'm kind of like, oh, I'm already so into this. Be gay. And see, like, part of me is like, the shadows aren't going to match up because they are coming through as, like, I'm rotating them, but the shadows aren't rotating with it. I also meant to say, have make art be its own graphic. I don't want it to all be one. There we go. But I kind of like that it's like the shadows aren't going to be perfect.
Yeah, that plays into that early 2000s aesthetic of like, we haven't quite figured it out yet.
Yeah.
We can give it shadows, but they can't make sense.
We have some of the technology, but we like don't have all the technology. Be gay.
Like noise green, but green. I think it's grass, but I love a grain on anything. That's like my fatal flaw.
I know, I'm a sucker for a grain too. Like anytime I'm editing photos.
Millennial?
I know,
Me
yes.
too, yeah, okay.
See?
I think that's a millennial design trait. I love this.
See, like, I'm like, it's done. That's all. We're done. Goodbye. Signing off. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much for watching.
And I think, you know, we're just going to kind of start adding these things in here. Okay, the red of this doesn't work, so we're going to get rid of that.
You might be able to play around with like the contrast and the colors in the effects panel and adjustments.
Yeah. I'm like...
No pressure. Just that you could.
Is it just me? No. Okay, for some reason I thought the shadow was adjusting when I like rotated it. I was like, that's way too smart if it's doing that. I'm like, I don't... Okay, let's see. Are there pineapples? That's what I want to know.
I saw a pineapple on the other one.
Because I think a pineapple would be really cool. We just need to open up. I like almost want to do a person, but I feel like that might be like too scary.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I would love for you to try that if you have time.
Okay, let's just see. Let's see where this takes us.
There's a green apple.
Oh, yeah, good call. Green apple, pineapple. I like, who knows how that one's going to turn out. That one's actually pretty weird looking. Strawberry could be kind of interesting, but then we have our red problem.
Yeah.
Snow cone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a gay snow cone.
Yeah, it's pretty gay looking. And just for funsies, let's find a person. Like a princess, is that too on the nose?
No, it's perfect.
Okay.
Looks just like me.
Oh my gosh, you guys are twins. Wait, should I do the one with the black hair?
No, that's me.
Okay.
With
are you naturally blonde?
Nope.
Okay.
And I don't have blue eyes either.
You're like, still me?
No one can tell us apart.
Okay, are you ready to be terrified?
No. Yeah. See, that's fine. This doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I think if you do it all together,
Hold on.
that's gonna be really scary.
We're gonna just do it. Hold your horses, everyone.
Say a prayer to the design gods. If
worried
she
about
didn't,
her
I'm worried about. I think if
about
she
her
didn't
nose.
have a nose, it actually wouldn't be that bad.
No.
Can you delete her nose?
Hold on. Let's just see what's gonna happen here.
Oh.
Oh. You're like, better or worse?
You know what? Okay.
You knows what?
If you take the nose off and inflate it and put it on, it might be fine.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna exit out of there. See, I'm like, my computer is like, ooh.
We're plastic surgeons now.
Okay.
This is so scary. Because, okay, now the lips also, I don't know.
The lips are also a little worrisome.
She looks like a
Cindy
Who.
Lou Who?
Yeah.
Yep. Literally, she's giving Cindy Lou Who.
Oh my god, so cute.
I'm also like, oh, okay. Now we're just getting into plastic surgeon
on this
territory.
episode of Botched.
Literally.
No, hell no, help.
Help, SOS. Oh, why
I need
is
to
it
just
blurry?
take a picture of these comments. That's so funny. Make it stop.
Go take a picture of the comments and then pan to her. Oh, why is her nose like all blurry like that?
You know, I have to say I don't think blurry is her biggest issue.
Oh boy. Okay, so we're not gonna put her on. Look
No.
I mean, it's just like it's her like evil, scary stepsister.
That's the Grinch.
Yeah, literally. Poor Cindy Lou Who
How
is
the
just
Grinch
like,
ruined Adobe Live.
oh no, her nose got left behind. Her blurry nose. Okay, well, we've had our fun. Oh,
Okay, I think the apple will be good.
let's do the apple.
Oh, you know what? You probably could have just went into the apple that you currently have and changed it to green.
That's exactly what I could have done.
Yeah, we could still do it if you want to.
Well, let's actually, yeah, let's do that. I removed it from here, but let's just make this green. And now, this should,
It might not. Did it update?
not yet, but it should. And I think, yep, okay, update. Come on. This was going a little bit slowly earlier today. There we go.
Yay!
Cool.
Cool.
Okay. Sick. So we've got some cute fruits. I'm trying to think. There's something. So I did a sort of effect like this, and it was also similar to this fuzzy effect.
I can help you with that.
Okay, I was like, I think I can remember how to do it.
It's with the blend.
Yep.
Which I saw you did the blend tool earlier.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna try to hold on.
Yeah.
Let's do some like fun.
Do you want to do like the
colors.
blur, the puffy one?
I think I want to do the puffy one.
Okay.
Which
Do
will be.
you want me to give you a step by step, or do you know?
No, I think that I can get
Okay.
it. Let's see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a fun line. Where's my? I literally always forget where's the pencil tool.
It gets like switched out with other ones. Also, we have a different setup, but I think it's the one with the circle and the pencil. Yeah,
Yes.
it's fun.
Okay, so we're gonna go. Hold on. Just so I don't lose it. We're gonna go object, blend, make, object. Let's make sure that.
Yeah, you might need like a million instances.
I'm gonna go. Let's see how that works. And then object, blend, replace spine.
Yeah.
And I might want to, I don't know. I'm gonna maybe simplify this actually. That looks okay, better. Bloop.
We were talking about this on the earlier stream. Are you a fan of the pen tool versus the curvature tool?
I really have spent the most amount of time with the pen tool.
Yeah.
But I also know that it's like not my most efficient tool.
I'm not a big fan. I use it, but I don't feel like I use it like properly.
Yeah.
Quotes.
Same. Okay, wait. So now from here, would I want to go to effect, distort and transform? Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Detail. Yes.
I
Bring it in.
think you might be able to add in like a third color to overlay it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's been a while since I played around with this. Oh, if they're gradient. You make those, those shapes a gradient. Okay.
Okay, so let's
So you
do
do
that.
like green to purple and purple to green.
So make this. Where's my gradient window? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It looks like something out of Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, in a good way.
Like,
or
it's
bad way.
Sully, kind of.
Sully's gay.
It's giving Sully. Oh my god, he is gay, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, I'm kind of like, love that already, but let's... See, this is my problem, is I do begin to like play around with stuff, and then I'm like, oh, I love it, I'm not gonna do any more.
Oh, that's nice. It's giving it a nice highlight.
Like, stunning.
Love. Imagine you expanded that and then did the 3D.
Like, computer just explodes. Computer explodes. Says, nope, sorry.
No, not today.
Okay, so I have no idea how or if this is going to fit into this composition because I didn't leave a lot of room. So what we might want to do is we might want to resize.
I love the resize.
Boom. And this is great because this feels like a
maybe
nice,
Move the gay down.
Be
Yeah.
gay. Hey, stop it.
I love this. I love the contrast in colors.
Yeah, this is like a classic kind of like orange, red on green is like...
So good.
Okay, so what I think will probably... Well, let's just see kind of how it fits. But what I think will make sense... Let's see. We need this to update. But I want to see how the squiggle fits in the background, and I think I'll probably use it as maybe some kind of like connective element, but I'll need to go in and like reshape it.
So cool. Love that.
Oh, oops. Put it in twice.
That's so fun. Oh, and I like how it's overlapping the B.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
So maybe
It's giving
we
like extra dimension.
do like a similar...
What if you did like a really slight blur on B?
Okay. Yeah. Oh, to push it back a little
Yeah.
bit? Yep. Okay. So, adjustments, blur. Then I almost feel like maybe gay needs to move up in size to give it that little slight more like added dimension. So let's do the same thing here. Wow, I'm like so engrossed I'm not even paying attention to the chat. Jess says that's
I'm watching it.
fuzzy. Monsters Inc. Caterpillar, yup. Okay. Be gay, make art. Okay, well let's look at our inspiration. We have, I kind of like these thinner squiggles too because we've got so much big and puffy happening that maybe some like littler elements to help break it up a little bit. Like these flowers are fun. That's like basically the same thing as what we're doing.
That is a lot of fun.
Mm.
They seem like more hand-drawn
Yeah.
also.
And I like these,
Like checkered, puffy.
yeah.
Looks like a pillow.
And even this type is interesting. Like it would be kind of interesting to like, I would need to think of like something else to put in here.
You can, like, okay. Do you want suggestions?
Yeah, no,
oh,
go
okay,
for it.
cool.
Tell me.
Like, get rid of the G and make it a giant script, capital G.
Capital G, okay. Hell yeah. Okay, let's find a good, let's go to script, capital G. Let's go to browse. Do you have any like favorite scripts that you...
Yeah, Chutzpah makes a really good one that I use all the time.
How would you spell chutzpah?
Hood. ZPAH. I really like Beverly Drive. There's like a few versions of them.
I like
And
that
then
one.
I'm also a very big fan, but it's more of like, I guess it might work in this. It's like a thicker font. It's not script, but Bookman Swash.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with
Like
that one.
it has like enough curves for. Yeah, look at that.
That's nice. Okay, that feels like.
Yeah,
Okay.
that feels like it can work.
Bookman. Is it probably in here?
I think that's the correct one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, look at that. I've already got it. Bookman. So then let's go G. No. Oh, here we go. But there we go.
Yeah.
Sick. Okay, so then let's make this. I did really like this lime green here.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's
great.
nice. So what we're gonna do, we need to do two things. We need to remove the G. Sorry, bye.
Hey.
Hey! Save. And chutzpah. Cheese corn shred. Con shred?
Corn shred. Chi corn shred.
Chi. Oh, I like Chi. Chi is from oh no, Typeco.
And Keys says that the assets that are the inspiration for this are from the fine folks over at You Work For Them.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm not even familiar with. I don't know You Work For Them. I haven't seen them.
They have like creative assets that you can
Oh, cool.
purchase. Yeah.
Chi con shred. I'm not sure what con shred means.
Oh,
But these, yeah, Chi is really
those
cool.
are fun.
Do you know Oh No? Typeco?
It sounds so familiar.
Yeah, it's actually I think he's based in Oakland now, but he used to be based in San Francisco. Oh yeah, based in Oakland now. But just like really fun,
Yeah.
like pretty extreme.
That Chi one is great.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's
wild.
similar to what Sin was using
Yeah.
in her design.
And I think that this one is a variable too, or some of them are variable. I'm not sure which one, where the variable ones are. Well, anyway.
Oh, wait, how are we on time?
37.
Okay.
Oh my
Whew.
god. Okay, let's keep it moving. We're gonna do a stroke. Let's just actually duplicate. You're seeing my like manic, frantic workflow, which is just like.
I feel like that is more like real.
Yeah,
Because
it's the
when you're
authentic.
working for clients, that's typically manic frantic.
I'm like not super organized. I shouldn't be outlining things that I am outlining, but that's all good. Okay, we are making it A, so let's do that. There we go. BA, your stuff, libraries.
Ooh. Yeah.
That was a great suggestion, and I am so grateful to you for that.
Oh, thank you. That's cool.
Be gay.
Maybe like art, also the A
Yeah.
is the same.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Okay, so then let's go. Oh, stunning.
You might be able to get a more flourishy variable if you're interested.
Yeah, let's
I don't
see.
know for sure. Yeah, there you go.
Let's see what are our. I mean, let's go all out.
Why
if we're
not?
here, might as well. Oh, and I need to fix art. Save. Okay. We're really putting the Creative Cloud libraries through the paces right now.
I know, but it's great. It's really one of the best features.
Let's refresh, get our new asset.
Nice. I haven't seen your general work. Do you do a lot of like similar work to this aesthetic?
Like, this is my, I tend to be like more flat. I don't like
Nice.
go very like,
3D crazy.
no, I do like, I don't know, there's like some amount of color and popping and stuff.
Yeah,
But like,
I like that a lot.
yeah, I tend to be like a little bit more flat.
Cool.
Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of like, this is fun. I sort of want to like.
Yeah, it's like nice to experiment with things that you haven't.
You do a fair amount of
Done.
3D stuff, right?
Like, not. Yes and no.
Okay.
I don't really know how to answer that properly. In the amount of time we have.
I'm gonna like just bring down the opacity. It's so it's almost like too stark, and so by bringing down the opacity, it like helps to blend it in just slightly.
Maybe like the blend mode.
Let's see.
That could maybe do something. There aren't. Oh no.
They don't
like
have that
Yeah, there's not
many.
a ton of. That one almost. The screen almost looks a little bit like. What's the word? Like a X-ray version of it.
I like how bold it is. So let's see. I just kind of want it to feel a little bit more integrated. That's kind of the benefit for me of like adding a grain at the end is like the grain.
Right. It brings everything together.
Hee hee. I wish there was a way to add a grain too.
I think that there is. You can search in elements and type in grain, and then you can put it as an overlay.
Don't I?
Did you?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's very hard to see. Maybe there's other ones.
Yeah, this one.
I guess also you can bring in your own grain if you wanted to. But it's a lot easier if you could just grab it from the library.
Yeah, and it's almost, it keeps in the spirit of, if I do an overlay on this one, then this might work for us.
Oh, also another request that I'm putting in for Adobe Express is to have clipping masks.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be great. I have a lot of really great ideas. Hit me up.
Listen, it's what we're here for, okay? Let's do, maybe we colorize it.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
It's subtle.
yeah. Okay. Let's, maybe we can lock this layer. There we go. See, okay, we need to save the grain for the end
Yeah.
because then it gets in the way. Boop, boop.
Can you hide a layer?
Can we? I should know the answer to that question, but I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. I'm just gonna
Maybe
hide
just bring it to the back, yeah.
it. Okay.
Are you going to animate?
I think I shouldn't I?
Yeah, I don't know. They have like the inflated pieces have like a bouncy quality to them.
We need one more. Did I make another? I feel like I need one more fruit in there.
Is there a banana?
Oh, I bet there
Goes
is a
like with
banana.
the yellow theme.
Banana.
Oh, they're like so set on fruit, and then it's a donut.
Yeah, it doesn't. Logically, it's not making much sense.
No, but I appreciate it.
Okay. This one will actually be interesting. Let's see like how it. Back to here. Like I don't know how.
Like how that's I like the flatness on the top. I think that looks really cool.
Do you think this could
I think I liked it the other way better.
like that?
No, like the full peel was 3D, but the like folded
Yeah.
over part stayed flat. Yeah. That's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
that works.
Eh. Oh,
Oh,
nope. Okay.
the horror princess is back again.
Listen, she's gonna be here with us for the rest of our lives. She's gonna haunt our
We're
nightmares.
we're never gonna escape that.
We never are, and I might just throw her in at the last minute just for fun. Like,
Ugh,
have you ever seen a thing so terrifying?
I have. Doesn't make that less worse.
This is just a horror of a different variety.
Yeah.
Okay, banana. Let's go.
Yeah, that adds like a nice contrast to all of it.
Maybe we can. Let's see.
We have just a little over 10 minutes. Seek therapy.
Trust me, I'm already in therapy. And it's because of
It's because of the demon princess.
Demon Princess Girl. I mean, this is both a masterpiece and an abomination.
Yeah, I think it's a masterpiece because it's an abomination.
Yep. See, it's not mutually exclusive. It
Yeah.
can be both.
Yeah, two things can be true at the same time.
Okay. All right, so let's do a little animation, shall we?
Yay!
Okay, how do we want to do this? Maybe like each of the little, not flicker, a bungee?
Bungee. I'm thinking like bouncy. Like the whole thing. And I know there's like a bounce, but I don't necessarily mean like just that, but like the pop bounces a lot.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I don't want it to like fade in. I kind of want it, I think pop is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And maybe if we like extend the duration, then it can kind of like
Stay longer.
personality. Cool. Let's just do that. And then we'll do a similar pop duration.
Like grow is also a good one, I think. Sometimes it gets too big.
Let's see what grow looks like for this apple.
At first she's pure horror, but already iconic. Still, I'm unsure if I could, yeah, like the movie Carrie.
I'm gonna keep it all. Carrie is iconic, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to tell me otherwise.
She really is.
She was wronged. Okay, so let's do peach first, then donut, then apple, then banana.
Oh, I like that. So go.
Yeah.
Can you add in
Intensity.
sound?
I think so,
also?
but I never have.
Yeah, I'm not really a sound girly, but that would be cool if we go. So good.
I mean, I'm done. That's it. We're done. We're good.
You got 10 minutes.
I'm like, okay.
Add more.
Add more.
More!
More. Okay.
Perhaps try to place some pride-colored ribbons under everything, but on top of the grass. There should be some time still. I mean, yeah. I feel like the chaos of it makes it as gay as it could be.
Be gay. This might be like doing too much. Let's just see.
Yeah,
it's,
but why not?
It's crazy, but why not? Okay, and then we're gonna have this.
What if, since we're going crazy already, what if the fuzzy thing in the back just spun in really quickly? Like,
Okay. Let's see.
Have Jess VO the pops. But like faster, more spins.
Like insane.
Like just go.
Like so intense. How do I make it like?
Okay. Loop.
Oh.
You'll have to loop it.
How?
The middle
Oh.
thing, yeah. And then I think there should be a spin. Yeah, spin. And then.
Oh my god. Energetic.
Like, was that not energetic?
It's like, okay. Well, let's do. Ooh.
That's
okay.
something.
Oh god.
It really is an abomination.
Be gay, make art. I don't know. It's almost too much. Okay, let's try.
We could slow it down a bit.
It just like really jolts
Yeah.
you right there at the beginning.
Just jarring.
Be gay, make really crazy freaking art. Okay. So we've got our grain, we've got our thing. I feel like I just want.
It's something.
We're missing something.
I always like to put stars, little sparkles into like almost all of my pieces.
Okay. Let's do media sparkles. Or maybe stars.
Oh, they might be in elements if they're graphic versions of it.
Sparkles.
Yeah, you could do that. I have the individual ones, I believe. Yeah, single.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. They could flicker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. See, this is
That's
just...
actually really fun. That's a cool t-shirt.
It is a cool t-shirt.
Urban Outfitters sells it.
It's like this, it is. It's like, I feel like this is just like a trend right now. Okay. Flicker. Flicker. Animation. Loop. I mean, we've really made a thing here.
We made something.
We made something.
We did something.
Some people might call it art. I made it and I don't even know if it's art.
Oh, sorry, it's not finished until the grain.
The grain we have.
Now it's all coming together.
Now it's done. Big A, make art.
Because
Big A. Okay, wow. So we've done a lot today.
we did a lot of
Jess just goes, what is happening? It's something.
It's something with quotes.
Oh man. Okay, well thanks everyone for joining us for this crazy. I mean, I guess I can like do a quick recap of what we did, but sorry, back and forth. But We did some inflating. We played with some typography. We blended some objects. We then like expanded those objects and we put them all into Creative Cloud libraries, which then synced with Adobe Express. And then we animated the heck out of it. And so I will probably post this onto my stories later. Go check it
great.
out. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this very deranged inflated typography session.
Thank you for being here and joining us. And I think are there some other people coming up next?
I actually think this might be it. I think we're the last.
Office hours is happening next.
Yes.
So stay tuned and check the schedule wherever it is.
Yeah, office hours. Stay tuned. Thanks, y'all.
Happy Pride.
Bye.